Can you hear the music?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Oh, yeah. Man, this shit gets me amped up for a podcast. It's just like, I can feel it in my fingers. I can feel it in my toes.
Yeah, your intro music's far better than our intro music.
I had this made, and we're going to talk about that. Oh, yeah. Makes you feel like Slash or something in there with you.
I know, dude. That's sick.
All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick, and big shout out to Senshin Boychuk, the man, the myth, the legend. Thanks for the fucking intro outro music there, big dog. I'm not going to say he was recently married, I guess, which I just did. He's been recently married now for a couple months. So, big shout out to Senshin Boychuk. And on this week's episode, we have the Night Shift King himself, or just the Night King, which, we might get sued by HBO or Crave because of Game of Thrones. But the Night Shift King himself, Grayson Magaha.
What is up, man? It's so good to number one, your intro music is sick. That's great. It's far better than the intro music I have. But I got to know, what do you call your people? Do I call them Dickonites or Frostonites or?
Oh shit! Well, we were talking about this. We were talking about this the other day. My wife and I actually. We used to we have a shirt that says Frost Nation, but I don't know. I don't know if we want to really use that. It didn't really sell too well. We're talking maybe Dickheads.
Dickheads are good.
Dickheads, yep.
That's a good Jimmy Buffett thing. I mean, they were parrot heads, so you could be, they could be dickheads.
Shout out to Jimmy Buffett, rest in peace.
I know. I think you could do something with the handlebar mustache too, like mustache riders or something would be
mustache riders. Oh shit.
That's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah. My kids are called the Frostlings. My two daughters, we call them the Frostlings. So there's the Frostlings, Dickheads or Frost Nation or Dickinators, I guess.
Dickinators would be good. Dickomaniacs. Yeah. You could go Hulk Hogan style. They could be Dickomaniacs.
Jerk-offs.
That's good too. Too. I don't know. I think we could make a whole podcast about what we're going to call your fan base. Frostbitten fan base would be good, man.
Splooges.
The Splooge Nation. Yeah.
Splooge Nation. Cream Pie Nation. What up? Oh shit, man. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm just I'm enjoying life. I'm out here. It's getting colder for us down here in the South, where if it drops below 65, everybody's freezing. But I think you told me the other day it was -20 or something.
-20 degrees Celsius here for the first time the other day. I worked a night shift in it. Apparently it was the coldest night for October that the town has ever seen, or maybe it was just that day, the coldest day for that specific day. I don't know. I think it was the whole month though. It was pretty cold, but today was -1. It got up to -1, a respectable -1. Apparently it's supposed to be +4 on Halloween. So
see, you guys do Celsius and everything like that. We're American over here. It's Fahrenheit, and we don't know the conversions. There's math involved, and I mean, you've seen our public education system. We have no idea what we're doing. If you can't count to 20 with your hands and feet, then we're out.
Freedom units, yeah.
Freedom units, is that what you call them?
Freedom units, yeah. That's what we're calling yours. And I don't know if you've seen her on TikTok, Millennial Miss Frizzle. She quit her job as a teacher to go work at Costco because of the state of the American education system. And I learned about her on the Second Act podcast with Gord, who's, good friend of the podcast. And I love listening to his. And yeah.
Dude, that's, it's one of those things. I've got so many guys that I talk to now and so many people in blue collar world down here, man. I'm getting so many applications from cops, firefighters, medics, people in public service, because they're like, dude, I mean, that's truly how I got into the field. I was a sheriff's officer, and this is back in 2008. I'll be transparent. I was making 15.80 an hour as a sheriff's officer,
Damn.
and I had a buddy of mine who was worked in a metal refinery, and I was making 15.80 an hour, and he was like, "Dude, I can get you $10 more an hour right now." And I'm like, "So you mean to tell me I can be making like a lot more?" And he's like, "Yeah, and you're not going to work. You're not going to work. Like if you're going to put your life on the line, at least get paid for it."
No shit. Dude,
So
that's insane. You only got paid $15 an hour to hold a gun. You know what I
mhm,
mean? You can literally shoot things
yeah.
for $15 an hour. Man, I would do that.
I mean, yeah, it's good money for what it is, you know, but
Well, no, I mean, $15 an hour. We should be paying our law enforcement officers more than that, right? Because
oh, dude,
like
100%.
to serve and protect, they have bullets flying at them. They have like people being all crazy, and then you have to trust someone that you're paying like shit
Mhm.
to be motivated enough to be like, oh, look at that guy robbing that bank. Hey, bro, I'm only getting paid $15 an hour. Slide me some of that cash, and you can be on your way.
I know. Dude, and we'll see, and I worked in the correctional side of it, so, like, once the bad guys go to jail is when most people forget about them. They're like, "Oh, they're in jail." No, like, you know, for us, it was we're in there with them. Like, somebody's gotta and I hate to say it because corrections is so much more than adult babysitting, but truthfully, that's I mean, that's really it. You're in there, you're outnumbered. There's 80 inmates. Where I was at, there was 80 inmates to one officer. So at any
Wow.
given time, things could pop off and you were grossly outnumbered. When you're inside the housing units, like the place that the guys are at, you don't get to carry a gun in there. You don't get to carry a baton in there. You don't even get to carry pepper spray in there because anything that you have in there can be used against you as a weapon. So you're checking your tack belt before you go into the unit. You're just going in there nothing. Because the way they see it
Wow.
is if you have a tactical belt in there with you and you have a baton or a gun or mace or anything like that, they could there's 80 of them, so they could easily overtake you. And now you have a whole bunch of armed inmates. So it
Don't drop the soap.
oh dude, absolutely. But you know, that's the funny joke in the prison system, but there are definitely people getting sodomized, and it's not the inmates, it's definitely the officers. Those are the ones that are taking it worse than everybody else. Because
Nice.
yeah, at $15 an hour, your tax dollars hard at work.
Yep.
Somebody is definitely getting it in the shower. It's definitely people in
Uncle Sam is the one giving it.
oh, dude. And then when you get those wonderful mandatory overtime days, those are my favorite anyway. Getting mandatold that you're short staffed and you have to go into work on the day that you're scheduled off, and they're wondering why people are burned out and don't want to do it anymore.
I
Yeah.
work in the oil field, so overtime is mandatory, anyways.
Oh, dude. And I never had a problem with overtime.
Yeah.
Even working in the trades in the blue collar world, dude, I never have a problem with overtime. I don't like being told is my biggest issue because I schedule things out the way that like, you know, we're we were on a 2-2-3 schedule. So like you know, you work Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, work Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing. And it rotates. But so you know that you have a long check or a good check and a short check. So I don't want to get told when I'm going to work because I can put out my dates and go, now I can have two relatively good checks and I'm not having to work 7 days straight to be able to have a check that's going to get taxed like crazy anyway.
Yep. I work like 100 plus hours a week sometimes, and you know it's like the most I've ever put in is 207 hours in a 7 or 14 day period, and you know the government loves me at that point, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
dude, it's insane. I lose more in taxes than a lot of people make in a
Make
year,
yeah,
and
exactly.
it's just crazy, dude. It's insane, and you know, shout out to the oil field. It's only getting worse, right? You know, with especially in Canada, we have carbon tax, we have this tax, we have that tax. Hey, man, we're probably gonna have a tax to talk soon, right? So, you know, so it's like, yeah, we're getting absolutely destroyed. I've watched the oil and gas industry become like an industry that you know you could make something of yourself out of
Oh yeah,
to
absolutely. Yeah.
like, hey, you know what, the rest of the country caught up to us in terms of money over the last few years, you know, like especially after taxes, you know, I could probably stay at home and make the same kind of money and be home every night, you know. And we're getting to that point anyways, but we're we just had a good experience where I got to be home every night, make the kind of money I'm making, working on a pipeline, and be home every night. And my wife and I were talking about it. Like, I'm back in camp right now. Well, right now I'm in a hotel, but like
Mhm.
I'm back and the last 4 or 5 days have just sucked, and like I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see where that all comes down to, but a lot of it has to do with my favorite ism right now that I'm dealing with, and that's nepotism. So, you know, yeah, I don't have the right last name or the right fucking marriage certificate, so I'm experiencing a little bit of that going on, and it's kind of punched me or slapped me in the face the last couple days. So I got really mad. I usually don't get mad at things like that when I get fucked over for something. I usually just like I get mad at myself. I go to my room or whatever, and I like fuck, right, and I just go to work and I do it. But yesterday, I actually had I was voicing my displeasure. I was like, hey, this ain't right, right, and it yeah, I'm unhappy about it. So
Oh, I've been turned away for so many promotions for people's cousins, sisters, boyfriends, second, whatever. Company I work for is a family owned and operated company. And if your last name isn't their last name, then you already know. And I've said it for a long time too, though, man. I mean, if you are clocking in for anybody and your name is not above the door, there's only so high you're going to be able to climb in that
yep,
ladder.
yep,
There's always going to be somebody above you. I mean, and even the people who have their name on the door, they still have somebody to answer to, and shareholders and things like that. But it's the blatant exploitation of, hey man, like, this is my cousin, so he's going to get the job because he's my cousin, is the part that I can't stand.
yep. And that's what I like about your content, dude. Like, your content spoke to me when you're like, the first video I ever seen, and you've got a few like it, but one of the ones I saw was, you know, the reason why these companies are having so hard of a time filling labor shortages and why they're experiencing these labor shortages, right? Because if all you're going to offer is money, I can
Yeah.
go make that anywhere. You know what I mean? And I will go make that anywhere. You got to offer something else
Well,
other than the dollar figure.
that's the biggest thing. And I know here in the States, I did a video that actually got focused on a couple news agencies, but COVID opened up the eyes to a lot of people.
Yep.
COVID here in the States, and I know it did it in Canada as well, but there was so many people who went from being essential to expendable overnight. And I think our generation, you and I are about the same age. Our generation is that generation that we were taught. I know your dad's and my dad and everybody said the same thing. You don't quit a job. You do good for the company. The company's going to take care of you. Job hopping looks bad on your resume, and you need to come in early. You need to stay late, and that's how you move ahead in life. And there were
Those
so
days are
many,
gone.
but I think there were so many of us that really had that like pushed in our core values and our core beliefs. I know dude, I was the biggest company man cheerleader there was
Same.
until COVID. I was the guy who was trying to rally the troops when COVID happened. I'm like, guys, look, these guys are sick. We're not sick. Let's do what we're supposed to do. I was working at a metal refinery. I was like, we can get these heats done. I know that we can stay a little bit over and we can knock this one out. Everybody's going to eat this week. Everybody's going to get paid. So this is what this company did. They did 2 weeks off for COVID, right? Like they were like, look, we're shutting down for 2 weeks because we have a lot of people who have tested positive. This will give everybody the 2 week clear test. Like, everybody will be clean after this. And they did it on July 4th is when they announced that we were doing 2 weeks shutdown. Everybody will test and be good. So we closed everything down July 3rd so that nothing would be running July 4th. We had July 4th, and me and actually some other guys hung out July 4th. July 5th at 9:05 a.m. Now, this is our first day off of this thing. July 5th, 9:05 a.m., they start making phone calls and laying off 80% of their staff.
Whoa.
80% of their staff gets laid off overnight. I was one of them. And they then the little bit of staff that they kept, dude, I mean, those guys were working 7 days a week. Their hours got cut down to nothing. The guys that they kept were the ones that were the ones that were not making enough money. We call them yellow hats. They were guys who were still in training. So, I mean, the first 2 weeks that I was laid off, I was getting phone calls from guys who had no idea what they were doing, and there was nobody there to point them in the right direction because the company just cut everything.
Fuck. That's
But I
some
think
bullshit.
so many of us have had those stories, and it just really started opening your eyes, man. Like, I had a retirement, or we had a 401k with that one. They cashed it out. We didn't get an option of anything on it, man. Like, everybody, there's so many companies not doing retirements. There's so many companies that aren't offering anything anymore. You offer me a 401k, which is just a glorified savings account. The money is all you bring now.
Yep.
Especially here in down here, there's so many non-union states. They're right to work states. There's not a lot of unions left, especially down in the South. Down in the South, union is a dirty word. Like, it is a horrible, horrible word. People do not, you can't talk about unions. And why they say they cannot take action against you for trying to start a union. It's a right to work state. They'll find a way to get rid of you.
They'll find it. Yep.
Yeah. If you start talking union, they'll find a way to get rid of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, same for the most part, right? Like, I've had bosses that have literally said, hey, I pay you this much so you don't want to unionize. And the moment you try to unionize, or even if you even mutter the word union, right, you're on the shit list, right?
Oh, dude. And they will find a reason.
Oh, yeah. And there's actually a company here, I think in Grand Prairie, actually. I can't remember what the name of the company was, but he said if my guys ever tried to unionize, my shit would be at the auction the next day. Right.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I think it was last year or the year before, they tried. All his shit was in the auction yard. He wasn't bluffing. He's like, you guys want to unionize? I'm done. I'm out.
Well, there's a big contract company down here. I won't say their names because I know way too many people who work for them, but there's a big contractor company down here. And that was, during COVID, that was his big thing. He said, I need you to ask yourself one serious question. Have you made enough money never to have to work again? And that's what he told his guys. He was like, have you made enough money to never have to work again? And everybody's kind of looking around. He's like, if y'all decide that you want to unionize, I need you to understand I've made enough money to where I don't have to work again. I will deadbolt these doors and sit happily and watch all of y'all starve before I do a union. He's like, because I'm good. I do this because I enjoy doing this, and I love, I love making money. But it's those threats like that, man, where it's like, dude, the idea of a union, and especially down here in right to work states and stuff like that, it's like the idea behind it sounds great. Like, yeah, let me pay a little bit of money and have representation and be able to negotiate better healthcare and negotiate a retirement. I mean, that's the thing that so many people don't have that they're looking for, dude. You spend 40 years with a company now, and all you're going to get is nothing. You'll get a gift card and some cheap Food Line or Harris Teeter cake or Kroger cake, and that's it. They shake your hand. The day you are done working there, their obligation to you is done, and your obligation to them is done. That is it.
Yeah, I work for a company in the summertime. I switch it up. I come here in the winter, and for my fucking sanity, I leave here in the summer and go work somewhere else. And then for my fucking sanity, I leave there in the fall and I come back here, right? And I found those two companies that allow me to do that, right? And this summer, man, like I found the hypothetical company politics box.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened it just a crack. And I should have closed it, but I dove in. The company box of politics. And instead of just closing it and getting the hell out of there, I found the hypothetical file with my name on it. And I discovered how I'm valued. And, I didn't like what I found. I did not like what I found, and it soured my mood there for damn near 4 months. I was just like, you know what? I don't want to be here. Yeah, this is, you guys they used to have company barbecues.
Oh yeah.
Bring your family, and come. We'll go to a restaurant. They took us to fucking Mr. Mike's Steakhouse once, right? Probably paid a couple $1,000 for everyone to have steak dinners and order whatever you want on the menu. This year or now the last couple of years, it's like getting because we work on the road, so we got to buy our own groceries while we're working away, right? And whatever they get, they pay us a certain amount. They pay us $50 a day, LOA. $50 a day to eat right now. You can't do
No,
that. Three meals,
yeah.
3 meals, $50 a day is a slap in the face. So you can't do shit with that. So they used to give out like $25 grocery cards. Here,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what? Here, can't even get that anymore, right? It's like, no, sorry, we don't do that no more, guys. Sorry, And I was playing politics back though. I started playing the politics game back a little bit, and I may have went a little too far sometimes, but you know what? Fuck it. Like I'm competent. I'm one of the only competent people there.
Oh yeah.
I can do my job. And I even said that out loud to my boss, my foreman. He's like, "Oh, you want to lose your job?" I'm like, "Try me, but you won't
Yeah.
fire me." I said it right on the radio for everyone here. I'm like, "I'm too competent to fire." And I put the radio down.
Mhm.
And that was it. We never even talked about it again. And then, but nepotism there as well.
Oh,
Nepotism where
everywhere.
I'm at now,
Yeah,
and
everywhere.
everywhere, man, everywhere. It's bad, and it's deflating. It's morally deflating.
Oh, dude, and that's the stories like that's kind of what started the brand that I've been doing on social media, and it's
Yep.
my walking HR violation brand here, and that's really what it is, dude. I tell people all the time, and it's, I cannot give you legal advice. I can give you 25 to 30 years of work experience advice telling you they're only going to do so much. I made a statement one time with a boss, and this is where it all kind of started. This is one of those bosses who want to remind you how easily replaceable you are. One of those bosses. You guys are a dime a dozen. You blue collar guys, you tradesmen guys, y'all are a dime a dozen. There's people waiting for your job. And, this was in the middle of a big company meeting. And I raised my hand. I said, hey, excuse me, if we're all so easily replaceable, why are we always so short staffed?
Oh, shit.
And his jaw dropped and everybody looked at me and was like, did he really just say that? I was like, he can't afford to lose us right now. I'm one of 4 guys that does what I do, and I'm on night shift. I've been on night shift since I've turned other jobs away because I don't want to deal with the dumpster fire that is day shift. So like find somebody else to do it at the rate that I'm accepting. And let's talk. Find somebody who can go do it. Cause I guarantee you can fire me, but you're going to find 3, you're going to have to hire 2 or 3 more people to do it. And that's the thing that I think so many people don't understand, especially I see it in my comments all the time. This quiet quitting attitude, well, if you're only going to do what you're paid for, then you're never going to get ahead. Dude, I ain't gotten ahead since I started.
Yeah, I ain't got ahead, and I was fucking heart and soul, man. Like I was loyal to a fucking fault,
loyal
and
to a fault.
Yeah, loyal to a fault.
Freaking company, man. I was a cheerleader for the company. I was recruiting for the company. I was wearing their damn swag. I was proud to have that name on my shirt. It meant something. And I think there was a lot of companies like that, especially in the early 80s and even up until recently. There were a lot of companies where employees they stayed there because they were proud of where they worked. And I go back to COVID. COVID opened the eyes to a lot of people that just got told, figure it out by these companies that they have been cheerleaders for forever. They got told, hey man, look, there's some stuff going on and my kids aren't at school now. The school's closed down. My wife is, she's a nurse. She's getting hit like with double up shifts and like, I got to go at work. My kids are here. Like, what am I supposed to do, guys? Well, you're going to have to figure it out. You get laid off. And then, I will openly admit, I mean, this is not self-deprecating, but I was one of those people who before COVID, I looked at unemployment people. I was like, how can somebody be on unemployment? You know, like how can somebody do that? There are
They
jobs.
figured it out. They figured it out before we did.
Yeah, there are jobs everywhere. How can somebody be on unemployment? And I did. It had this stigma behind it. And I think there was a lot of guys that had the same way. They were brought up. You better be working to provide your family. Dude, I didn't choose to be on unemployment. They chose that for me.
Yep.
They chose that for me. And dude, I went into that unemployment office hat in hand, and the lady said something that really changed the way I looked at it. And she said, she was the one who said, you didn't choose this. And since you were 15 years old, you have been paying into this system. You have been working 60, 70, 80 hours plus a week since you were 16 years old. Why are you ashamed to collect something that you've been paying into your entire life?
Damn right.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. And she's not wrong, man. She's not
It,
wrong.
it was people like her and a lot of things that just kind of changed my way of thinking, especially watching these companies that laid off so many people then record profits. Well, I hope you're profitable because you ain't got nobody working there.
Yep.
You got CEOs and owners of these companies that, you know, are making record profits, $1 million a year paychecks and bonuses and everything like that. And look, I know that guys like me and you are not going to go out and be millionaires, but dude, it'd be nice to be able to work and actually afford a house
Oh,
or
fuck.
to work. You know, I'm working to support my family. It'd be nice to be able to go, hey man, your daddy works this job so that you don't have to work a job like this. Go to college. You want to go be a doctor? You want to go be a lawyer? Dude, my hard work will pay for it. Go and do it. But, you know, and my son has asked me, he's at that college age now where he's applying for them. And he's like, well, what are we supposed to do? And I'm like, dude, I love you. Like, you can live here as long as you possibly want. And as long as I can afford it, I will do everything I can to make sure you have a better life. And I think that's what built these countries. That's what built the blue collar field. It's what keeps all of us dads and moms clocking in and out every day is
Hell yeah.
because it's for the kids, dude. My shit's been on pause since I was 20 years old and knocked my girlfriend up. And, you know, luckily we've been together for 18, 19 years now. But, you know, like you realize real quick when you become a dad, it's not about you anymore. But these hardworking guys and gals out here, man, that's why so many people are frustrated, dude. It's the American dream and the idea of the white picket fence and being able to provide for your family, dude. It's hard to do nowadays. I know it's hard for you guys up there too.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God, dude. Like, you are equivalent to fuel, right? For gasoline at the pump. If you paid what we paid, you'd be paying like $8 a gallon.
Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane.
Well, and the thing is, like, I've often said, if you can explain it to me and justify why I'm doing it, I'll be fine with it. Explain to me how CEOs of companies are making millions of dollars. And then you have people who are out there actually providing the service that makes you those millions of dollars that can't afford their rent, that can't afford groceries, that can't afford. Dude, I know guys who have to drive an hour and a half away to go to work because they can't afford to live in the city that their job's at.
That's
and they've got a good job. I've got a buddy who where I'm at in North Carolina. I've got a buddy who lives in Sherrall, which is an hour and a half away from our facility. He drives
3 hours.
3 hours a day because he can't afford to live in the city where the actual factory is. And he lives in a little double wide trailer out in Sherrall, and he's like, dude, even with gas included, I can't afford to not live out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh fuck, man, that's absolutely disgusting. So right now, right, where I live in Edmonton, I live in a pretty well. It used to be a little bit of a rough area, right? Like they're cleaning it up pretty well, but Tent City's getting bigger and bigger every time I go by it. And I watched a gal get Narcan. I've never seen someone get Narcan before. Never seen it. I heard about it, but I
Mhm.
literally watched the guy like shoot her in the leg, and she just come back from the dead like,
I know.
right.
It's
And
a scene
I
from
was,
Pulp Fiction, dude. You're like, "What is that?"
the fuck? Yeah, man. And like Tent City's getting bigger. And buddy, there's a homeless encampment out in the
I
alleyway
know.
behind my house last week, 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And I told my wife about it, and she's like, "Hey, we got to call and get that removed." And I'm like, "Well, do we have to? They found a warm spot back there. Just let them be." She's like, "It's fine now, but in a week or two, when it's really cold out, they're going to be starting a fire back there. And then your garage is going to go up." Right. And it's like, well, shit, I guess so. All right. Yeah, we'll call that in. But like, like it's getting. I was talking about it today with a guy at work, and I said, I don't, I couldn't imagine being there, but I understand it.
Mhm.
I fucking understand it. Where like life's that hard, where you're out on the street living, and then of course, to numb your mind from your situation, you're using.
I think the sad part about the whole situation, and it is one of those things that, you know, I can sit and I can bitch and complain. I still got a roof over my head. My kids still are
Yep.
fed. I'm
Yep.
struggling to do it, but and this is me again going back to COVID. I think it proved to a lot of people, man, there's a lot of people that are 2 weeks away from being that guy in that homeless encampment, right?
Ooh,
I
less
mean,
than 2 weeks.
yeah, the average. I mean, I think I was reading this news article that the other day, and it said like the average family is a $500 expense away from losing everything. So it's one of those things that if the bank ever comes to collect, then they're going to be these hardworking people who are still out there working jobs that just can't afford to do it, man. I mean, I used to have a very I used to have a very disdained idea for the homeless, and I would be like, how could somebody burn so many bridges that
Yep.
nobody they know is willing to take them in? And then I started really looking at like some of it too, and I'm like, dude, I mean, honestly, it's a pride thing, and it's a situation of, dude, like, if I was given the opportunity as a dad too, like if we lost our house, yeah, take my wife, take the kids, make sure they're good. And if you don't have room for me, I'll go over here.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
dude, you take care of these kids before you do anything else, man. And the Narcan thing, I know that's one that hits me weird. I cannot stand. Look, if your life ever gets to the point to where you start using, I get it. Like it's tragic. There are a lot of well-funded things that can take you off of it. I do not like the fact that taxpayer dollars is going to free Narcan and free needles and free things like that, dude. Like let's focus on fixing the homeless population and taking that money into fixing the homeless population and making it to where, hey, like maybe we give some jobs. Maybe people start making enough money to where it's not a big enough deal. That'd be great. Maybe you pay your
Yep.
employees enough, to where, you got fast food jobs that is minimum wage, but dude, nobody can live off a minimum wage. You
No.
can go to McDonald's, you go to McDonald's and order a number one combo. It's $11, if not more. And there's people who are out there making that number one combo who ain't making $11.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and what is minimum wage going to get you? What down here it's 7.25. What is 7.25 an hour
It's like
going to get you?
14 or 15 here. Yeah. And that's not enough. I know living wage in the city I live in, I think it's got to be at least $20 an hour right now. And I think they said there was a study or whatever that came out a couple of weeks ago, 180 grand minimum a year to buy a house right now
Yeah,
in this city. In
and
Toronto, out east, you need to be making about $1 million, $500,000 to $1 million to buy a house.
and there's only so many jobs that are going to pay that.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. And um, yeah, dude, it's what you were saying about, the drug thing and using, um, a lot of that has to do with mental health, right? And they're not dumping enough funds into mental health right now. They're just simply not. Up here in Canada, we have the MAID program, medical assistance in death. They would rather put you in MAID than put the money. They've dumped a whole bunch of money into MAID in the last couple of years. They'd rather dump the money into MAID than dump it into mental health.
Well, and men's mental health in general, and not that I want to talk about it, but men's mental health in general has been one of those things that has always been,
Oh yeah,
kind of swept under the rug. That and not that it makes you any weaker, but dude, when COVID happened and I started doing my videos, I can't tell you how many messages I got, from guys who were in the same boat that I'm in. They're like, man, I appreciate the video because I'm going through it right now. I've never felt like a failure before, but I got laid off, and dude, there are no jobs. Everybody's going through it right now. There's no jobs. There's tons of places hiring, and I feel like a failure because I'm making more on unemployment than I would taking this job.
yep.
And I've worked for 20 years, and I can't, I don't have a retirement. I don't have. It's not that I hadn't done any, it's not that I hadn't put money aside or anything like that, but man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And men's mental health is one of those things that just doesn't get talked about enough. And I think there's still such a stigma behind the idea of asking for help. I really love the idea of not mandating, because that sounds bad, but making it, to where it's I you know I do not enjoy going to church, but I enjoy going to church and having a brotherhood and a community and talking to people off air and things like that, man, kids and stuff like that. Just, dude, there's no book for how to do this. There's no how to make things work book. And, there in
We're
the
all
blue
winging
collar,
it.
we're all winging it. And in the blue collar fields and the trades and things like that, man, men's mental health isn't something that's talked about. There's a lot of guys out there, that I don't want to say they stop chasing their dreams, but dude, this is the reality of what it is to be a man is provide for your family. You don't get to put your stuff on, you don't get to put the mom and dad and the family on pause so that you can go and try to chase those dreams. Bills still have to be paid, kids
Yep.
have to be fed, things have to be done. And there's a lot of guys out there in the world that just, they may not want to be swinging a hammer. They may, they're doing it because they're not passionate about what they do. They don't find any joy or any fulfillment in what they do. They find fulfillment in their kids. And when that base and that core gets rocked because of a divorce or because of money, I mean, most couples, that is the biggest fight, is money.
Number one.
Yeah. So when that base gets rocked, especially during COVID, man, I mean, when that base got rocked for so many people, nobody talks about the effect that it had on the middle class and the working class guys, that legitimately they had their whole structure and core foundation just rocked.
So I was the exact opposite during COVID, right? Where like my daughter was born 2 days before it was declared a pandemic. So
Yeah.
I was taking that first month off anyways, right? And then my boss called because I fly back and forth, or was flying back and forth at the time. I lived way out east and I worked out west. And my boss called me 12 hours before I was supposed to fly back. And I was uneasy about it anyways, because COVID, right? At the time it was like COVID scary, right? And oh, COVID bad, you're gonna die. And so he laid me off. He's like, don't come back, stay. So I'm like, okay, I just have a newborn baby. You know what? I'll
Yeah,
fucking stay
exactly.
home. I don't give a shit. I'll spend time with my other daughter, my wife, and the newborn. And so I was laid off. That was March. I went back to work in June.
Yeah.
It was time for me to do the summer thing, rotate to the summer job. And so I did that. And, when I left, I didn't know that was going to be the beginning of, a long, long, long time away from home, because it was hard to fly back and forth.
Yeah.
Right. And like I say all the time, COVID didn't give me mental health issues, but it sure as hell exposed the hell out of them. And so I went to work, and, it was 2 months before I came back home again. And then, I went home for 4 days. And then I flew out on a Friday evening, Friday morning. Sorry, I landed on Friday evening. I had Friday evening at home, all day Saturday, and I all day Sunday, and I left Sunday evening. I flew back out again, and that wasn't enough, right? And so I went back to work. I worked another 3 or 4 months, went home, and then I went back here, and then that was like 6 months on, 4 or 5 days off. 6 months on, 4 or 5 days off. 2 years, 20 days off. It was like, are you kidding me, right? And with a newborn, man, that was hard, right? That was hard on my relationship.
Oh yeah,
That was
absolutely.
hard on my children. That was hard on my psyche, you know, and mental health, dude. It played a big part. And that summer is when I made my first video on TikTok, right? It was to make me laugh.
Yeah,
It was to make me do something other than feel like a fucking robot. And
I
so
feel that.
yeah, man, I made it in the grocery store, got 1,900 views. And
Great.
then I kind of made a couple videos while I was home with my kids. Didn't do so well. Came back to work here in the oil patch, and made a video that went viral. And I'm like,
Yeah.
shit, dopamine. I could do
I
that
know,
again.
dude. That first one's the one that always gets you, man. It gets you hooked.
Oh yeah.
So, COVID for me was one of those things too. I harp on it a lot, and it's because of so many stories that I've heard. I will be transparent and tell you I got laid off and legitimately within 2 weeks went back to work, different company. I lucked out compared to so many different people. Now
Yep.
I'll openly admit I got told no from this company for like a solid 2 weeks. I went in and interviewed, waiting on a phone call. They're like, "Oh, we'll let you know by Friday." Friday comes and it's like, the HR lady leaves at 5, and here it is. It's like 4. I think it was like 4:55. My wife and I are sitting around. I'm like, I didn't get this job. She's like, you got to call, and I did. I called her. This was on a Friday. I called the HR lady at like 4:55. No, she was about to walk out the door. And she was like, I was actually about to send you an email and just let you know that we went with a different applicant. Dude, and I was heartbroken. I was like, so the company I was working at that got laid off even though I hate to say it this way, they were like top tier in our town, like top pay. And then this other company was underneath it. It was close, but no cigar. I took about a $5 pay cut to do it, but the hours were completely different. So it was like, all right, I'm technically not losing money because I'm not having to do so much more to
Yeah.
make that money. But dude, so that was Friday that she told me I didn't have the job. And then legitimately Monday, yeah. So I'm sitting there boo-hooing all weekend. Then she calls me Monday at like 12:45 in the afternoon. She's like, so that guy failed his test. He failed his test. Presuming that you can pass a drug test, you're good to go. And I'm like, oh, there's no presuming about that. Like, I got you. Like, we're good. I'll wring it out of a diaper if I have to. That's how bad I needed that job.
Oh shit.
But but so I did well. A lot of the COVID stuff, man, I harp on it a lot because I do think it changed the way that people think about work. It changed the way that people think about companies. But I will openly admit I was truly blessed in that situation. But just like you, man, I mean, I was sitting at so my social media story, TikTok and Facebook and all that, legit. So I've done stand up since I was in my 20s. I mean, I did it all throughout college. Um, and I did it way before COVID. I actually started my own. I got told I was going to Comedy Zone in Charlotte, which is like the big comedy club in the city that I'm near. Charlotte's still a 45-minute drive for us, but it's like that's the only place that has a comedy club. So I was going to Charlotte, doing my stuff, doing the open mics. I had a couple features, and then I got fed up with it, dude. Like, you as a dad, the juice has got to be worth the squeeze. Any time away from my kids on a day that I am off, it needs to be worth doing. So I was doing
Yep.
these shows. I was doing these shows for free at Comedy Zone. I was actually even paying to play. Like, that's how bad it was. I was buying tickets to the show that I was on so that I could actually go to the show. So I would spend,
Jesus.
yeah, I would spend $50 and buy two front row tickets, And if I bought tickets, the booker of the show would let me on the show because I bought tickets. And he would give me 5 or 10 minutes. And dude, I would like not to toot my own horn, but I had so many people that are like, man, the 5 minutes isn't enough. Like, you're hilarious. We got to do more. And I got fed up with it. So I started my own promotion. I went and bought a PA system and I old school advertising. I printed out a whole bunch of flyers. I took them to bars and I took them to places that, bars and breweries. And I took them to places like, I got a PA system. I can do comedy. Like, you guys have nothing going on a Tuesday night, right? Because like trivia is on Wednesday. Y'all got nothing going on a Tuesday night. Give me the stage and let me just put a jar out. Like, think of me like a horrible musician. And I'd just sit there. I'd do my set. There were people drinking. There was football games on behind me. It was horrible, but it took off because it was just social commentary and making people laugh and telling jokes. And I had all these other comedians that were just as hungry as I was. So it went from me doing a show by myself to me and 3 or 4 other guys. And then we started doing these things called showdowns, to where I would legit put out mason jars on the tables. And I think the biggest one we had 20 comedians from North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia. I mean, that's just how many people were so hungry for stage time. We ended up having like 20 guys do it. And, dude, it took off. We were doing it every other week, big shows and everything like that. And it got the attention of the bigger people in the Charlotte area. And then that's really when it started coming. The juice is worth the squeeze. And, it came down to the point to where I was like, man, I'm writing new material every week. A lot of these guys are coming out and doing the same thing. I felt stale and stagnant because I'm like, I got to come up with at least another 10 minutes, at least another 10 minutes. And so I kind of veered away from it for a little bit. And just because like the juice is worth the squeeze. If I'm out here doing this, I'm going to enjoy it. So I pulled away from it. COVID happened. I was sitting at the house. I'd never done any TikTok or social media video. I'd never filmed any of it. And a situation happened. And this is legit the video that took off for me. A situation happened at my kid's school to where I got a phone call. Now, working night shift, I get a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning after dropping him off. I get a phone call from the principal, and she goes, "We need you to show up to the school. There's been a situation with your son. You need to be here ASAP." And I'm thinking, as a dad, he's been in a fight. Something has happened. I got to come up here. I get to the school. She won't tell me what's wrong. I get to the school, and she's holding up a bag of evidence like he's done something completely wrong, and it's a Reese's peanut butter cup.
What the fuck?
I know. I said the same thing. It's a Reese's peanut butter cup that was in his Lunchable. And she's like, "Do you know what this is?" Ma'am, I'm 285 pounds, depending on what scale I jump on. I guarantee you I know exactly what that is. That's a Reese's peanut butter cup. And if you let me taste it, I'll let you know where it was made. I am at this. But because it is a nut-free school, and because of peanut allergies, they considered bringing a Reese's peanut butter cup just as dangerous as bringing a firearm into the school.
And you guys are like a right to bear arms state, aren't you?
Well, I got this big flag right behind me and a couple other things. I think most people know how I feel about firearms. So
you're all about that pew pew.
I'm all about that pew pew life to an extent.
Like, yeah,
I got kids. I understand too. I'm not sitting here and carrying, but if you're gonna sit and tell me that a Reese's peanut butter cup is as dangerous as a AR, because that's what she kept telling me, my comedy mind just took over, and I started writing jokes about this situation. Like, I'm like, so you mean to tell me that, like, when I was in school, we were worried about Columbine. We were worried about like the trench coat mafia. Now we out here with these peanut kids. We got the trail mix mafia. Is that what we got going on? you got, and just all these horrible peanut joke references kept coming. Like, you already know how rednecks are. If you're going to sit and talk about peanut allergies being dangerous, you're going to end up having a whole bunch of rednecks with a freaking Mr. Peanut, make America great again Trump flag going on with Mr. Peanut on it. This, this we shall defend, packing paydays and almond joys in their back pocket. And that video just went nuts for me, because it was just it was edgy enough to where people were like, are you kidding me? And look, if you would legitimately have a peanut allergy that is that deadly, I get it. I don't want anything bad for your children at all.
We're going to start replacing bullets with peanuts.
My question is, if your kid is at the point to where the dust off of a Reese's peanut butter cup can send them into anaphylactic shock, why are you sending them to public school? It's just, I know that sounds harsh. I don't want anything bad for anybody's children, but the video took off, and it's that dopamine rush, dude. And it lit up that stand-up thing on me, and I started doing more stuff. And then I had a lot of people reach out to me about HR stuff, because they're like, dude, like I said, I had a lot of people who were already talking to me about being fed up with work, and this was all during the mix of COVID. And it really just kind of took off to the point to where I started doing the social commentary about work. I started seeing a lot of your videos out there floating around too. And I'm like, oh, there's a guy who completely understands what we're going through.
Hell yeah, man. I self-deprecate. I drag everybody into the shit with me, like mainly the safety guy. I'll just bring them all in. Hey man, none of us are, we should all be shitting on ourselves and each other.
Oh,
that sounds kind of kinky actually, but
I'm not in it. I watched that video one time in the strange parts of the web. I don't want to look that one again.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. Quick question. Do you know what viscosity is?
Viscosity? It sounds like a SAT word that I probably got wrong. So you're gonna have to tell me.
So it's like the density or the thickness of a load.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna start using that to make it sound really good here soon.
All right. Let's hear what you got. Let's hear what you got.
All right. The viscosity is that the word? I want to make sure I have it right.
Yeah, you could say like, oh, that load was really viscous, or the viscosity of that load. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the viscosity of the load that I take at work every day is enough to use as mouthwash. It is quite good. I've seen some people who are in management take a load that I thought they could gargle with. Like, shit. I'm like, man, where are your knee pads, brother? Because those are definitely getting used today. Like, I saw a little roller scooter underneath the boss's desk one time, and I really I wanted to tag it up and put like the safety guy's name all over it. It was great. Like one of the little chairs that you sit on when you're having to do like low man work down on the bottom.
Yeah.
Our boss man uses it as a footrest, but he keeps it underneath his desk. And I may or may not, I cannot confirm or deny it was me who tagged it with the safety guy's name on
it. I love it. So where I'm going with this is the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman. And the Mudman deals in the viscosity, the viscousness of drilling mud or fluid on the drilling rigs. And I gotta ask him if it changed yet. But you could find him at www.mudmanmarket.com, or if it's changed, check it out, mudmarket.com. And go check him out for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs. The Mudman's got your back, and he helps with the thickness of your load.
I would say that the Mudman's got your back and your front.
Oh, shit. You go and listen to that. I'm going to help him out. That was 54 minutes and 17 seconds in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That needs to be on a T-shirt. The Mudman's got your back and your front. There you go.
Oh, man. Hey,
of his mud is quite
he could put it on a T-shirt. The Mudman measuring the thickness of your hole.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Measuring the thickness of your hole is his goal. That's already one. But
Your hole is his goal. That is amazing t-shirt.
Well, that's like an oil field in general thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your hole is my goal, or your hole is our goal. My favorite part is I work on a vac truck, so I say a lot of, "Hey, you want me to come suck you off? Hey, you want me to come take your load? You want to take my load? Hey, come suck me off, you know." And there's a lot of time where I put the end of that vac hose on people's butt cheeks and right,
That
yeah.
is fantastic. My friend, are a national treasure. Like,
Oh, I have a series on my main TikTok page on Dick Frost 89. Um, it's called "What's He Sucking Now?"
are
And
you happy now? Sorry, I totally don't want to interrupt your podcast with my wife's not non-sensory, but
it's all
she
good.
she come over here and she came over here to back here in the back office to hit print on our orders for the day, and it has just continued to go off. I've had to like mute my mic, and it has been louder and louder and louder, and she's finally done. And I'm like, are you happy now? Like,
Don't
have you?
even worry about it, Matt. Don't even worry about it, buddy. That's we're blue collar guys.
Oh,
My
dude, let me tell you.
my podcast isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. The sounds in the background, it's life happening, baby. You're doing it at home. Hell,
Well,
who
how's
cares?
everything going on your end, man? I mean, let's really talk for a couple minutes. I mean, I know you and I both have the same goal. Like, I think there's a lot of people out there that have the same goal, dude. I don't want to punch a clock forever. How about you?
I definitely don't want to punch a clock forever, man. That's kind of sort of, my content. My job is now in the way of my content, so I'm trying to make that.
Yeah.
We're trying to navigate around that. I know people who have thrown the punch card away and the timesheets and made a full time go, and it's doing pretty good. I think we're there. I think if I just gotta get the balls to do it. I gotta walk
Mhm.
away. I can make a serious go of it. I know I could do it full time, man. And the podcast is part of that. The
Well,
podcast is part
exactly.
of the future goals. The future goal of that I think would be to, you know, put more into it. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to walk away from the whole blue collar life completely. Maybe walk away from the being out of town and away from my family for weeks and a month or more at a time. I think work has always got to be a part of that. Dirty hands, clean money. Got to keep the mind active. Got to keep the hands busy. ADHD and shit.
I
But
think it's there,
yeah,
but there's a lot of people too with the dirty hands and clean money. It's one of those things you just, maybe you get your hands dirty for somebody else is the question. I think that's the goal that so many of us have. I know, the ultimate goal for me, man, I want to do stand up full time, dude. Like, the content for me is hopefully going to get to the point to where I'm waiting to be invited into like the Cool Kids Club. There are certain creators on all these platforms that you see that have the following, and they are doing it full time.
yep.
And that you God love him, Justin Danger Nunley is one of those guys who has really kind of set the bar for a lot of us to go, oh dude, this is a full-time gig for Justin. Like,
Scott D. Henry's
yeah,
up there too. Yeah, I love Justin Nunley. Wow, man, great content.
dude, just I'll be honest, and I've gone on record to say it before too. When he first started, dude, I don't know if you want to call it the green-eyed monster, the envious monster, dude. There are radio clips and podcast clips of me just trashing this dude because I'm like, all you're doing is giving us a fact. But what he has done with his content like recently, and it really, like, once he pulled the veil back, I fell in love with the guy because it's like, at first I didn't like it because I'm like, dude, you're interrupting videos, and like it's like that reaction stuff where you're like,
Yep.
you see the guys who have the video playing in the background and they're, listen to that. Yeah. Like, you're not adding anything to the content. But when you have like what he has started doing is great, dude. And what he's done for other creators. That's why I say I'm waiting for my invite into the Cool Kids Club, Justin. Because,
Yep.
like, I mean, he's got Udi with him, he's got Goose, he's got Savage Mom Heather. Um, I know that Taco's a part of that group. I'm like, dude, and that's what I'm hoping to be able to start doing in a blue collar way. Like that's why I love working with you and Marshall and some of the other guys that I've been able to connect with. That I want to do more stuff like this. Could you imagine all of us together at one point in time, just like roasting each other and doing blue collar? Like I call it job site humor, to where it
Well,
really
that's
is
like
just nothing but innuendos.
that's like Larry the Cable Guy, right? We get Larry the Cable Guy. I'm trying to get him on my podcast right now. Actually, Larry the Cable Guy. That message has been sent, and I'm hoping it comes out. But like you said, like worm your way in with some guys that are up there doing that kind of stuff. And I've kind of found that I found who I can't say that I've worked my way in there, but I'm definitely like rubbing shoulders with them. They know who I am. We've
Oh
talked,
yeah,
we've communicated, we've got there. We're on talking terms. I got into Dirty Hands, Clean Money. I've got a discount code now, and when I joined that elusive group chat that Dirty
yeah,
Hands, Clean Money has, and I came in there and I saw all these guys that I follow that follow me back. Some of them have been on my podcast, right? And it's like, shit, man, this is cool, right? And like, we're talking like Rough Iron, dude. Love
yeah.
that fucking guys. Love that guy, man. We're talking Rough Iron.
I wouldn't mind being involved in that group too, man. I mean, if you want to help a brother out, like invite somebody to the Cool Kids Club,
Hey, man,
I'm down
I
with it.
can I can put out I can put out the word, buddy.
Put
I can
put
put out
put
the
the word
word.
out, man. Because that let me tell you what, like I'm a hoodie fan. I watched your video of getting that Dirty Hands Clean Money stuff, and I'm like, I kind of need a hoodie now. So I'm definitely using your discount code to go ahead and make an order.
Hell yeah. So actually right now, and this is fucking October 24th or 25th. I don't know what day it is. But
26, but
the Troll Clothing Halloween sale is officially on. And if
nice,
you use the code SPOOKY15, you save yourself 15% instead of my 10. But
nice,
if you go and use my link, it still counts as and use Spooky 10 on my link, it still counts towards using my code. So
nice.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool, man. And all of y'all who hear this podcast, if you think to yourself, man, I love these guys, and I wish there was a way I could support these guys more. Look, when we do get to partner up with companies and they give us discount codes and stuff like that, man, that is the best thing that you can do for a content creator is to go in there and like myself, man, we run stickers like that. That's something that me and my wife do here at the house, just to get them out there. But when you get these discount codes and these things like that, dude, like look at that hoodie. That's a good looking hoodie. And if you think that
Beautiful hoodie, man.
if you think you want one and you want to help Mr. Frost out there, go cop one of those and let them know that Frosty sent you over there. That's the stuff that gets these other companies looking at you. If you can do that, and it makes it to where that dream that all of us have of not punching a clock for anybody but yourself, man, that's the kind of stuff that gets you chasing that dream a little bit more.
Amen.
That is my promo promo merch push for today is if you know somebody that is doing this and they're lucky enough to partner up with a company, man, like that is the best way you can support them.
Amen to that. You have like thanks that dude. That's amazing. That's huge. I appreciate the hell out of that. And also, I got the heat wave code. Heat waves, the glasses I wear in all my videos. Frost
Dude,
10, Frost 89, 10.
As a sunglasses connoisseur myself, like that I think that is honestly one of the ways that I found you to begin with was somebody had sent me one of your videos and they were like, hey man, this guy's wearing sunglasses in all his videos too. Because for me, as the night shift guy, dude, these raccoon eyes do not go away. So
Ever.
I started doing videos and honestly, dude, when I was doing videos, I got so tired of looking at my own face and going like, man, I got a skin tag here, my whole entire. So for me, it was kind of like you go invisible. You know what I mean? Like nobody can see my wandering eyes. Nobody can see, any of that. So
Keep talking.
it was really one of those things. That's why everybody always asks me why I wear sunglasses in my videos, and that's it, dude. Like I can be myself and not worry about them. Yeah, but I mean, dude, that's the thing. Like you wear it, and then I can't tell you how many people in my comments come in and they're like, "Why are you wearing sunglasses all the time?" Now, when you're on the oil field and like when I'm on a loading dock or something like that, dude, I don't think people understand how much of your day is spent outside.
Oh yeah. Well, all of my day, right?
Yeah.
All of my night, all of my day. And I never used to be a sunglasses guy actually. Like, I'd wear like just the regular safety glasses or my prescriptions, I'd just wear those. And it wasn't until heat wave was like landed in my lap essentially. It's like, fuck it, let's give it a try. Why not? Right. And I can tell you something. I lose safety glasses left, right, and center.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
when they're those ones, I don't lose them.
No,
And they've changed my life. I'll never not wear sunglasses outside at work,
I know.
especially in the wintertime. It's
For me,
Canada.
yeah.
It's
For me,
Canada. It's
it's
sunny.
welding.
It's
Yeah.
the snow, the reflection coming off the snow and hitting you in the face. It's bright.
For me, it's welding. I spend a lot of my night welding and like, so I wear my welding hood and I have my mask on all the time. And then I get so used to having it on my head. And then I found some welding glasses that were actually just glasses. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to wear this crap. Because by the time they call me to come and weld something closed, it's usually in a, hey, can you come do this as soon as possible situation.
Yeah.
It is never, hey, can you make this as pretty as possible? Or, hey, this needs to be amazing. No, it needs to be, hey, this thing's about to blow up if you don't go ahead and seal this up. So can you go ahead and jump on this as quick as possible? So I got that. That's where the sunglasses came from me is I found a company that just had welding sunglasses. So I don't have to lug everything around. And then I just got to the point to where I was wearing them on my head all the time. And I'm like, okay, cool. So now I can do all of this.
Um. So speaking of which, you said night shift, right? And we've
Mm.
talked about this before, but how many years of night shift are we talking?
All right. So with the jail, I was on night shift. The metal refinery, I was on night shift. Currently on night shift. If you add up all of it together, it has been. I think my wife did the math on it the other day, and it's somewhere around 18 years that I've done night shift. I
18 years of night shift, and I get bitchy after one or two nights.
Oh, dude. Well, see, for me, night shift. If you go and watch the night shift videos, dude, night shift's just a different breed of people.
Yep.
Honestly, if I went to day shift, I probably would be fired within the matter of minutes. I am a walking HR violation. I do not. I reserve the right to keep my mouth shut. I do not practice that right. I have a tendency. I have a tendency to call it like I see it, and that's honestly what's kept me on nights for so long is I've always kind of been like a night shift Lorax. I speak for the guys on night shift because we're asleep when the safety meetings are happening. We're asleep when the company meetings are happening. And so when I got to crew lead, which is like a shift lead, is basically like you are not a foreman, but you are kind of in charge of the guys. Like it's a senior position with us to where like I'm training people and I'm there to make sure guys are doing what they're supposed to do. It is all the responsibility with none of the money is what it is. All the responsibility, none of the money. But it just got to the point to where like for me with night shift, the guys that were coming in and that I was training, I got to a point to where I didn't feel safe leaving and going to day shift because I'm like, you guys aren't going to get taken care of if I go to day shift.
Yeah.
Like they're hiring a lot of these guys now that have zero experience. They're hiring them right off the street. They have zero experience, zero work ethic. And, at the end of the day, everything in blue collar world is, I like to call it the hot and heavy rule. Everything is hot. Everything is heavy. Everything can kill you. And there's a lot of people who do not, they take advantage, and they take for granted how quickly things can go from bad to dead.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a guy one time, dude. He's driving an overhead crane. He had about 18,000 pounds, like just hoisted over my head as I'm down in a hole, waiting for him to bring it to me so I can guide it to where it needs to go. And the dude like stops what he's doing, puts the crane box down as I'm still down here. No communication, no conversation in between us. And now this thing's just floating over my head, and he's texting his girlfriend.
Oh, fuck.
And
Just
dude,
zero regard for anyone's
zero
life.
regard for it. And of course, going back to that nepotism, of course he's somebody's cousin or somebody's whatever. So I chew his ass out about safety. I chew his ass out about everything else, and then I get written up in the morning for what do they call it? Basically, for lack of a better word, conduct unbecoming is what I believe they called it. Yeah, I should not have spoke to him that way. And I'm like, y'all are hiring these people. This motherfucker sat with y'all for 45 minutes, and y'all looked at him, and somebody from our company who makes decisions for our company sat and said, this is exactly what the fuck we need.
Well, shit, man. They probably looked at him and were like, "Oh, this guy's gonna fuck up at some point, and it's gonna be major." There's a pretty good chance he's gonna be sitting around this table with us eventually in management. Like.
And so for me, it's really one of the reasons. And then the culture on night shift's a little bit different, man. We really are caffeine fueled, rage filled little monsters. And
I think that's the oil field in general.
Yeah, I mean it's blue collar America in general, and the oil field exactly.
Yeah, gas station sandwiches. Oh
yeah, 4 monsters just to get you to normal.
Yeah.
You put a lipper in, just you hadn't smoked in years. You put a lipper in just because you want that buzz to be able to keep going, man. I need something to make me feel alive.
I worked 170 hours in just over 7 days. There's only 168 hours in 7 days. You know what I mean? Like, what sleep, bro? It was like, hey, give me all the Red Bulls. Give me whatever. And what you said, you need something just to make you feel alive. Man, in camp, I don't pay for anything, right? So there are times where I literally need. I'll drive into town. I'll go to the store, and I'll buy a $2 chocolate bar because I need to spend some of the money that I just destroyed my body to make.
And I think that's really the thing with me with night shift is it's that, dude. It is a different personality. We are definitely the fuck around and find out society. We're the people who are like the island of misfit toys. Like that is what we are, the people on night shift. It's, I jokingly tell people, if you want it done right, you get it done at night. I mean, there's a reason why all the bad shit gets set for night shift. And it's not because we won't do it. It's because they know that we'll do it. I mean, there's no OSHA or mesh on night shift. So they understand that, I might bend the rules to get some things done. You don't really want to know how it got done. You're not going to ask how it got done. You're just going to be glad it got done.
Yep. Well, there's that sound right now on TikTok being like, okay, we need to stick together on this. No pointing fingers. It's like, you're a problem.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And that's how I have used that sound. It's like, we need to get, all right, guys, we need to figure out how we're going to get this job done as safely as possible, the right way. And it's like, no pointing fingers. And then when I look at safety, I'm like, you're a problem.
You're a problem. You're a big problem.
You're a big problem. It's time to step aside.
So safety is definitely it. Our safety guy, he follows me. He follows me on TikTok. It makes me giggle when he jumps in on some of my videos, because I'm like, you realize I'm talking about you, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I love it when I'm on site, and like I travel around to different sites and I see different people all the time. It's great. And when I come on a site and people recognize me, like, hey, there's Dick Frost, right? And then the safety guy usually comes over and he's like, so make any videos today? Right? Like, you know, and I've actually had a consultant come over and be like, "Hey, you want me to hold the camera for you?" Like, he just wanted to be a part of it. And I'm
You
like,
know,
"Heck yeah, man, let's
dude,
go."
I love it though. Like I had one, I do not get recognized a lot. And a lot of the times I will say that a lot of the times I have my kids and stuff with me, and
Yep.
I've had people message me and they're like, "Hey, we saw you at Walmart. Hey, we saw you at Target, but you had your
Yep.
kids with you, and we didn't
I
want
get
to,
that.
we don't want to interfere because." For as public as my life is as private as I try to keep like my kids out of it. I've got an 8-year-old and I've got a one that's about to be 16, and it's like the little one thinks what I do is awesome. He's like, "Dad, videos are great. This is so cool. You're going to be like Mr. Beast." My oldest is at the point to where he's worried about what girls think of him, and he's like, "Dad, you're embarrassing me." I'm like, "You have no idea how much more I can embarrass you, son."
My
Like,
kids want to be a part of my videos as much as possible. Like, if I ever want to like stare at my phone for a few minutes and my kids are like looking for my attention, to be like, "Hey," and like my wife is getting mad that I'm looking at my phone. I just like, "Don't worry, the kids and I are making a video right now,"
oh yeah.
right? Like, and then she's like, "Okay."
Yeah, I can't put the little one on TikTok anymore because their community things have gotten weird to where like you have to be a certain age now. But
Yeah.
little man will jump on some Facebook videos every now and then. He thinks he's a comedian. He loves to do, we call them lame jokes of the day, and it's just horrible dad jokes. And I'm like, go for it, man. Give me 3 horrible jokes, but and we'll put them up out that way. I know it's not always my original content, but I think a lot of people look at it and they're like, "This is just a dad trying to have fun with his kid, man." That's all that.
So sort of like Jeremy Littell.
Yeah, just this is a dad trying to have fun with his kid. That's all this is, man.
I'm like, you know, we were talking about like rubbing shoulders with like
Yeah.
some bigger creators and stuff like that. Like, I'm friends with Jeremy Littell.
Oh,
Like, I
fantastic.
have his phone number. We snap each other. He's coming on the podcast. He's just been very busy. Um, I go live with him sometimes. You know, shout out to Dave the Upcycler, actually, who, you know, knew that I was trying to get the attention of Jeremy Littell. And Jeremy and him had become friends already. And one night I'm like laying there, I'm at home finally relaxing. I'm next to my wife, we're chatting, and I got no clothes on. And Dave texts me, he's like, "Get in my live now." It's like 11 o'clock at night. He's like, "Get in my live now." I'm like, "Bro, I'm half asleep." I'm laying next to my wife. He's like, "Get in my live now." So I'm like, whatever. So I put on a shirt, I go in his live. Jeremy Littell is live with him. I'm like, son of a
Nice.
bitch. Jeremy's, and then Dave shouted me out and was like, "Jeremy, you need to follow this guy. This guy loves you, and like I think you guys would be good. You guys would connect good." And so he follows me, but it was on my backup account. I'm like, no. So I get out, I jump back in, and he follows my main. And then, after a little while, he gives me tips we're on Facebook and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Snapchat and stuff like that, and we chat, and it's good. It's, oh man, but we got to realize too, right? The bigger you get, the bigger I get,
Yeah.
right? The bigger he gets. We're all just people, right?
And
So
I
it's
think
like,
that's the thing that you don't find in the social media community that I wish would be. There's a lot of gatekeeping, and that's the part that I can't stand. There's a lot of people who there's a lot of people who are afraid you're going to steal what they have. And I think
we can all
with
have it. There's enough of the pie here, man.
well, and I think with what you do, and I hope with what I do, and people like Jeremy as well, it's like we're we're out here doing our own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as a stand-up comedian, which I always try to put that first. Like as a stand-up comedian, dude, I'm writing new jokes every day. Is everything I write freaking Netflix special worthy? No. But I can throw it out there and I can know if this topic even works. You know, I got one that I've been working on for a while now about my son, and it's like I can do these videos and I can see, and it's the one I did the other day that you jumped in on as well, the honey badgers. These kids who were born during COVID and like
They're
during the
different.
lockdown are built different. Like I
Yep.
know my son's a little bit older than your daughter's, but so
No, my youngest was born 2 days prior to the pandemic.
yeah, little man didn't get to start kindergarten or first grade because of the pandemic. So he was legit at home with me while my wife is working all the time. So like I had a severance package and all this other stuff trying to look for a job. And like he's hanging out watching Jerry Springer and Price is Right and trying to do Zoom kindergarten, all while hanging out with this disgruntled 30 something who just lost his job. So they're built different, dude. He is a monster, man. So
Yeah.
like you know, those jokes like that are things that I can throw out. And I'm like, I got this concept. I don't know how to, you know, how to make it work. And I can throw those out on social media, man. There's a lot of gatekeeping, but I love it when content creators can come together and like really talk and do these
Yep.
podcasts and run ideas behind each other. Like, you know, hey man, I got this idea, you know, you're, I had a, I'll be honest. There's a couple videos that you've done that I've honestly kicked myself for. Cause I'm like, dude, I totally wanted to film in a porta john the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of videos where I see, like, I don't know, you know who Johnny Tsunami is?
Yeah.
He'll make a bunch, and then Slim Brick will make a bunch, and there'll be a bunch of guys who will make a bunch. And I'm like, fuck, I had that idea.
I know.
I was just waiting for the right sound or something to come along. He found the perfect sound, made it work. And I'm like, okay, but Rough Iron and I were talking about this on my a couple months ago on the podcast. He will see a video that I've done, save it, and then like wait a whole fuck ton of time, and then he'll do it too,
Yeah.
right? Right. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And so like I've started doing that now too. Like, okay, I'm gonna save that sound. I'm coming back for it in a few months, or I've waited up to a year to do a video once that I've seen someone else do. I don't know if you see my video where it's like when I steal the safety guy's phone and I try to unlock it with the facial recognition, and then I put the clown emoji filter on and it opens the phone. I stole that off someone who stole that off someone else a year prior to me stealing it off of him.
You know, that's the thing that every now do you get the people in the comments every now and then that will hit you with that's somebody else's video or unoriginal content. I'm like, everybody's stuff there. I used to get mad about it. Now there's still one creator who I just don't talk to because he legit word for worded.
Who's like it? Who is it? Name drop. Name drop.
I'm not going to call him out. I'll tell you off air because I'm pretty sure that person's involved in that Cool Kids Club. Although his page is completely taking a horrible turn. But dude, like straight up word for word, like I put the video up at like 12 o'clock. At 12:05 he puts it up, and it's not using a sound. It is an original joke that I wrote, and he is telling the joke word for word, like he had put that thing in Google Translate and got a script and like read it word for word. And then I'm getting blown up in my video, and they're like, this is so-and-so's video. And I'm like, no, dude, look at the timestamps, bro. Look at the timestamps.
So what you're saying about gatekeeping too as well, right? So I don't know. Do you listen to the Blue Collar Angst podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That guy was on my podcast like a few weeks ago.
You're rocking these podcasts like nuts, dude. I gotta step up my podcast game.
Oh, dude. Anyway, so we were talking on there about it, you know, about collaboration and you know, no, gatekeeping is so dumb, you know, like collaborating is the way to go. You know, you're doing what I'm doing. We're gonna link up. You're eventually gonna see each other's stuff. You know, I admire you in what you're doing and vice versa, whatever. And he's like, you know what? Like those people at the top, they're collaborating. They see the value in collaborating.
Exactly.
The people at the bottom are competing. Right?
Yeah.
You know, why would we have separate tables, right? We could all build a fucking table, sit at it together, and bounce shit off each other, like you said, you know?
Well, and I think, you know, especially with like the stand-up comedy stuff, joke writing for me is one of those things that like I have notebooks everywhere, dude. I write jokes every day, and I try to challenge myself as a comedian to like try to find topics that are out of my comfort zone and write a joke about that. You know, I've got political stuff that I will never put up just because I try to avoid avoid politics all day long, you know, like especially on social media, those are soapbox issues you're never going to change somebody's opinion on. And I can talk about my beliefs until I go blue in the face, but it's not going to change the way I feel. It's not going to change the way somebody else feels. So
Yep.
I have jokes that I write all day long, and then I'm like, dude, I can't really tell this one. It doesn't fit for my brand. Like, you know, it doesn't work for what I'm doing. But like in the comedy world, dude, I send stuff to people all the time, and I'm like, I've got guys who send stuff to me. They're like, hey, this happened, but it'd be funnier if it happened to a boy. I have a little girl, and since I have a little girl, it's kind of gross. Like little
Yep.
girls don't do fart jokes, but little boys do. And you know, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, so I love collaborating with people. I love running ideas off of people. Um, dude, I love seeing people be successful. Like, truthfully,
Yeah.
more than anything, and that's what kills me with the gatekeeping stuff. More than anything, I love seeing people be successful at what they want to do. Because,
Yep.
you know, your level of success and my level of success is going to be two different things because what we're both going for is something completely different,
Yep.
you know. And I tell people that all the time. They're like, dude, you know, you got this following, you're doing what you're doing, man. That's great. And I'm like, I love every one of the people who follow me, but like for me, I never feel satisfied. Like I want to be on stage. That's what I want. Like I love the fact that I can tell jokes in the comfort of my office or in the comfort of my car. I want to be on stage. I want to be like, hey, Frost, I'm coming to Canada, man. We're gonna hang out and party and have a good time
Let's
while I'm up
go.
there in Canada. Like, and that's the part of it that I'm hoping to accomplish in this coming year is to do a lot more travel and a lot more live show stuff. Like this podcast is amazing, but you know what would make this podcast even cooler is doing it
Person.
in person.
Dude, we have never done an in-person show yet. Well, my wife and I have twice, but we or three times actually. But other than that, I haven't done an in-person show yet with a guest. And I've heard that it's game changing. The atmosphere is insane, and once you do it once, you're gonna want to do it all the time. And man, we're working on that actually. I can't really talk about what's in the works
Yeah,
for episode 50. It's still not happening yet, but I'm hoping that by the time this episode airs, because this will be episode 46, we'll be
cool.
4 weeks away from episode 50. And, oh, you're falling down. And we'll be 4 weeks away from episode 50. And I'm hoping to be going to Texas to record episode 50.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lucked out a couple of times, you know. So as the night shift guy, I do a little I put it under the umbrella of what I do. There are some people who know me as the paranormal night shift guy, which is, dude, I love doing my ghost stories. They're all fan submitted ghost stories, and being night shift. This is how paranormal night shift came about. People ask me all the time, and it's a real quick story. So I work night shift, and on night shift, you and I both know there are things that go bump in the night that you just don't talk about.
There are
Canadian.
things that go bump in the night and we're the ones who bump back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And no, dude, that's exactly what I say. I'm like, we're the ones who bump back. I know that's a Hellboy quote. People call
From
me out on it all
Hellboy.
the
Yep.
time, but
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, like, dude, I've worked in corrections. I've worked on loading docks. I've been underneath this beautiful earth that we have, hanging out in cave. You know, when I worked at the metal refinery, majority of my job was underground. So, you know, when you're going 4 stories underground, you hear and see things that you just don't want to talk about either. So it's just weird, you know, and coming to everything that we do brings you face to face with death just about every day. Like, you know, you're like, oh, hey, there he is. That right there probably should have and could have killed me, but it didn't. But the paranormal night shift thing, man, I made in one of my night shift videos, I made a quote about the full moon crazy shit. I'm like, if you've ever worked night shift on full moon, you'll understand there's things that you just don't want to talk about, you know?
Yep.
And dude, I got so many messages of like, hey man, I got a ghost story from work. So it just really kind of became the umbrella of what I do. Cause I'm like, dude, if I got it as a content person, if I got 20 stories, well, I got 20 videos now because I got 20 stories to talk about because there's days where you hit that writing block. So I did a couple ghost stories that these people had talked about, and it took off. So I was lucky enough. I brought a friend in there. I brought Hilarious Andy Ayers. His page is Hilarious, and I brought him in there because he's real big on YouTube and stuff like that. I didn't know how to do podcasts, but I was lucky enough to do a couple podcasts with him in person. He's down in Florida. So I was lucky enough to do a couple podcasts with him in person. And dude, it changes the dynamic. Being on video is great, but being there and having a couple drinks and just like shooting the shit with somebody, it really does become more of the guy talk conversation and stuff like that. It's the gloves come off when you do them in person, man, and they're really fun. So that's what I'm hoping to be able to do more of in this coming year. Is I love doing like what we're doing right now, man. Just grabbing other content creators, grabbing blue collar guys. I really want to grab some other comedians that I know do not get the exposure. You and I both know on social media there is an algorithm. They don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
You can be the funniest son of a bitch alive, and have the funniest joke ever, but it might have only gotten 300 views because the algorithm said you didn't hashtag something right. So
Yep. I feel that, dude. And like I love, this is the whole point of the podcast, right? I want to talk to my favorite content creators. I want to talk to other blue collar people, right? And sometimes those people are the same thing, right? And I have, this is a blue collar podcast for sure. It's turned into that.
Absolutely.
It didn't start off that way, and hey, it started off as I'll talk to whoever I want to talk to, and it's still that way. I'll talk to people on that are blue collar. Hell yeah, man. I love chatting with people. You're my favorite content creator, yada, yada, yada. It just so happens to be a lot of my favorite content creators are blue collar. And, I had Bentelect on. He's not blue collar. He's got 20 million followers across the internet. Solid dude. Solid dude. Jeremy Littell, I wouldn't call him blue collar. He's got his beef jerky thing going on. He's an actor now. He's doing that kind of stuff. I've had quite a few non-blue collar people on the podcast, right?
He's a talent agent now too, is he not?
He's a talent agent now too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to tell him next time you talk to him that I totally tried to fill out their application and it keeps sending me back. So there's a glitch somewhere in there. It never let me submit it, but I know Jeremy and I'm trying, buddy.
You got Snapchat?
No. But for you, I can have whatever you need me to have, brother.
Oh.
I'm trying to find, it really is for me. And not to harp on it too much, man. I'm trying to know what to take. What do I do to get to the next level, man? I'm on that march to 1 million right now. I think I'm like at 800 something. And I feel like I've hit a brick wall of like, I want to know what's next. And I think doing things like this podcast, that's why I'm so grateful that you even reached out to me. I'm like, oh, there are people that do what I do, that like what I do.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Of course. Of course.
That's truly the big thing, man. I love collaborating and talking to people and things like that. Because if you gatekeep and if you do all that stuff, man, you never know the opportunities that you can come across and do other things, man.
Amen to that.
That's what I love the guys like Jeremy and Justin and Goose and those guys, because they have been very transparent with their knowledge. He's got the talent agency thing, and I'd love anybody to look at my videos and go, hey, this is what you can do different. Because let's be honest, this is a new frontier for all of us, right?
Oh, fuck, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
You know who I keep trying to reach out to see if he can come on my podcast, but have never been able to get a reply out of him? Nicholas McGallis. The guy from Vine. I want to have that chat, where, different eras of social media, like, hey, when you found success on social media and you blew up and all this went for it was Vine. Vine disappeared, right? Where are you now? How are you dealing with that? Are you when I don't know if the fame and success for him ever went away truly, because I still see him around every now and then on like X and Instagram. But like, see, he's not in your face constantly like he was. And is that hard? hard going from like being someone that everyone sees, knows, and you see him out on the street and you're like, that's Nicholas McGallis, man. And hello, my name is Nicholas, and this is ridiculous. I got mad gummy money and it is deliciousness, right? And I made that video one time a couple of years ago, and Nicholas McGallis is a guy that I just want on my podcast.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he's not blue collar either. He's just a content creator of I don't know how you would say that, content creator of internet's past, right?
Yeah,
And that's just it. Would that fuck him up? Would that make him
yeah.
depressed knowing that people don't view him as a content creator in the now?
Well, there's a lot of guys like that were really big on Vine, and then, like, I always go to Alabama Boss, who, dude, down here, he was in line to be the next Larry the Cable Guy. That was what a lot of people were saying, and then Vine went away. I saw him on TikTok for a little bit. He partnered up with somebody, but it's like, dude, what happened to this guy? Like, where did these guys go who had these millions of followers on Vine and everything like that, and Chive? It's like, where did these guys go? What happened to them?
Yep.
I think that's a great idea, dude. And, that's what I love about doing podcasts that are just, that are open form like this, to where it's a little bit of everything, because you come across different ideas and things like that. So it's absolutely really cool that what you're doing, man. I really am digging what you're doing. And I hope the people who listen to the podcast can respect everything you're doing, man. I mean, truthfully, blue collar, you're out here trying to provide for your family. You're chasing dreams that everybody always talks about that first step. And I even heard you talk about it, dude. You took the first step, dude. The hardest part is grabbing that phone and making that first video. You were
100%.
terrified, dude. You're terrified.
Dude, I'm still terrified to do it while people are watching. I don't like it when anyone's in the same room. I'm getting better at it. I can make them around my coworkers. I can make them around people that I want in my video. If you're going to be a part of my video,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can do it. But if my wife's not going to be in my video and she's standing there, it's like, oh no. I got a good idea for a video back home, but it's on one of the busiest intersections in the city. And like, I know I'm probably never going to see those people again. They're just driving by, right? I still get nervous. I got to go out there really early on a Sunday morning when no one's really there and do it. And I think it'll be a smash hit. Like, I think the video will just take off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I mean, like, it's funny to me, and that's all that matters. And, I appreciate that though, man. Like, this podcast, it's a lot of work.
It's cool. It's a lot of work. People don't understand that. And that's one of the things that, like, people think that there's we live in this instant gratification society, and people think that anybody can go up there and just magically do things. And let's be honest. I mean, TikTok got a lot of people thinking that way, because you have all these girls dance around in bikinis, and it's like, you're just dancing to a Cardi B song with your, in a bikini, and you're not actually talent. But, oh, dude, and I sat there and thought about it myself a couple of times. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I can jack up I can bring out the man cannons and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Somebody's willing to pay for it, man. Y'all can have pictures of my feet. I'm down with it. It is what it is. You got bills to pay. I ain't mad at your hustle. But, when you are a content person who's making their own stuff, and you're not just using other people's sounds and stuff like that too, dude, it gets frustrating sometimes, don't it, dude? Like, when you have an idea in your head, like your video that you're talking about, like, dude, it becomes your baby.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times my wife has deleted videos and been like, no, you cannot put that up, by the way.
Yeah, well, if I make one that I don't think my wife's gonna like, I usually save it and show it to her first. Right. And there's a couple that I have made that I didn't see a problem with. I posted. She got back to me almost immediately. She's like, hey, that needs to come down.
Now.
And I'm like, what? She's like, I don't appreciate it. And I think it makes me or us look like this. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. Hey, you know what? There's been times where I fought it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'll be like, you know what, man? Like, hey, you can't choose a hill you want to die on. You can't choose them all. You can't die everyone, right? Let me have some fun. Like, for a long time, I couldn't joke around about our sex life. I couldn't, I wasn't, that was a no-fly zone, right? And then, as she became more and more a part of my content, where she was in my live, she was interacting. She changed her name, and she made a little bit of content herself, and she became a part of my persona. and so that was really good. Then she's like, okay, all right, you know what, you can talk about this a little bit,
Oh yeah.
and then so it's all right, cool, I like that, like the one where I was dancing where it's like, if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, and it's like my first night home after a long month away, right? And I'm like, the first one's for me, right? And I'd made that and I had to save it to my phone, and I was not allowed to post it anywhere except for my Instagram story because it would disappear in 24
Oh
hours.
yeah.
Right. And so, that was the only way I was able to post that. And now I post it everywhere as often as I can.
Mrs. McGaha comedy will never be on camera. Like that is her. She's like, I'll never be on camera. But when I go live every morning after I get off work, I go live on socials. And dude, everybody loves. She used to not even want to be around, but everybody wants to talk to her far more than they do me. She'll chime in and talk to the fans, and she runs the design shop for the stickers and the t-shirts and everything too. So she is always there doing something. But yeah, she's the same way. And when
Yeah.
I was doing stand up, dude, that was when I was doing stand up and I was doing my own shows, that was her thing. She's like, I love you, but there are so many topics that you talk about on stage that like I'm the lady in the pink shirt in the front row. You know that, right? Like you're going home with me at the end of the night. So like, dude, I had a joke that I had written that like was a real life story, and she's like, "No, never again." And then one of my staple jokes for a while was this joke about I call it the pussy or pizza, the pussy or pizza joke. After 30, I got to after 30 years, after 30, I got to a point in my life to where on a Friday night, if I'm given the option of pussy or pizza, there's a good chance that I'm taking pizza. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the other thing, but pizza comes with far less nagging and anything about anything behind it. Like,
Well,
here's the
heartburn.
yeah, a little heartburn, absolutely. But here's the thing, like, I like pizza and you like pizza too. So, you know, what if I told you that you could only eat Papa John's pizza for the rest of your life? That's what it's like being married. That's what it's like being married. Papa John's does not get mad at me if I go eat at Little Caesars. You try that with the other shit. You go eat at Little Caesars
Yeah.
with the other shit, you're never eating Papa John's ever again. You're still paying
Never.
for Papa John's, but you are never eating Papa John's. So, I mean, and the joke goes on the joke goes on for a little bit. I talk about hot and ready pizza. I was like, Little Caesars has got hot and ready pizza. Like hot and ready. It means that it is ready for me to eat it the moment I get it. After being married for as long as I have, it's warm and waiting at best.
I fucking
Oh,
love
dude,
that.
the joke is one that I've been telling now for like 10 years, and I finally put it up on socials, and I got a phone call at work, and she was like, "You take that shit down right now, or I'll delete your whole account." She is like, "I know that you're not smart enough to know how to get back into your account if I delete your account."
Holy
So
shit.
she's like,
She's
"You
not
take it down
wrong.
right now." Oh yeah, dude. Like that's the thing about a blue collar man. For every blue collar man, there is a blue collar woman behind that man, and she runs that man's life. I can't tell you what kind of money I have or if I don't have. I know that my bills get paid and I'm allowed to buy certain things, but
And somehow the
dude,
laundry's done every
yeah,
fucking
dude,
day.
exactly.
How does
Like
it get done? I don't know.
if anything ever happened to my wife, I would have to go talk to her mother and be like, "Did Amber ever ask you or tell you anything about like bank stuff?" Or like,
I'd have to go and ask my mother-in-law,
yeah,
did you make another one?
yeah. Do you have another one that's any like? Is there one in waiting somewhere? Because like I would have to be driving around to different banks and just be like, "Hey, do we bank here? Because I have no idea. Like, I need to write you a check. Do
Yeah.
you have my money?" My wife
Yeah.
run. My wife is amazing, and she 100% like runs my life. And
Oh yeah.
so if the content that I make makes her go no, then I'm like, all right, yeah, well, you know what? Here's the deal. It's not going to suck itself, is it? So I'm gonna, it's funny, but I got to live with you.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a respect thing, right? Like, she's not comfortable with it. She doesn't like it. She says no. It comes down,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And then
yeah,
it goes back up later. It's fine.
yeah. I'll
I'll
find another way. I'll
I'll
find
find
another
another
way.
way. I'll tell that joke on stage one day when she's not around.
Yeah,
It's all good.
exactly. Yeah. Hey, she can't come to them all, right?
She did. That was the thing.
Hey, that's a supportive wife.
Oh, dude, she like I said, she runs everything, and she is she is definitely the management partner that I would want.
Yeah,
Like so, because I had gotten screwed out of money doing stand up so many times it's not even funny, and that's when she started coming to all the gigs. She's like, "No, we're gonna make sure you're getting paid. You're driving to freaking Atlanta, which is 3 hour drive. They are selling tickets with your name on it. Yeah, you're gonna get paid. Like,
yeah, yeah.
forget this
Oh,
$100 for gas bull crap."
hello.
Oh, dude, that's nice.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to get one of these you got to get one of these like heavy duty ones right here. This thing is like a brick that I have zip tied my microphone to. That's all it is.
I I gotta get something like that. I'm in a hotel in Grand Prairie right now, and the desk.
It
I
doesn't clip
this
on the way it should.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
weird how it's working here. But whatever, we've made it work. It's only fallen really once, so
No,
that's
I mean,
good.
I have I've had the same mic stand before to where it clips onto the desk, and yeah,
Yeah,
if that
yeah.
clip gets weird, the springiness behind it drops, and it,
You you have your foam on, and I took mine off to try something out. I don't know
I,
how it sounds, but
mine's all the way like down into it though. Like I've
you
had a mic
you
like that as well. My mic, the foam is all the way like down
you
into the.
back that thing up on it.
Yeah, well, this one was a gift because they didn't like the other one I had. So this
Fuck
one,
'em.
like with the soundboard and everything that is hooked up to it, like this one is what we use when I record. Like, I have to record the ads and stuff for our the Paranormal Night Shift podcast. So like Spotify makes me read a whole bunch of ads.
Where can you find that besides Spotify? Is it everywhere? Or?
It's everywhere. If you go to any of my socials, you'll find me everywhere. But like, and I have to do the voiceover stuff a lot. So like, I have to use the radio people voice. So this mic, it was a gift, and it is too expensive for somebody like me who has no idea what they're doing.
This whole thing was a gift. The headset, the mic, the soundboard from my sponsor, the mudmanmarket.com. Don't know if we talked about, viscous loads yet.
We've talked about giant loads, and we've talked about taking it from the back and the front. Like,
Yes, absolutely. How you
and
should put that on a t-shirt.
how he should 100% put that on a t-shirt.
Been
That
there, done that, got the
no,
t-shirt. So
that's a t-shirt too.
what socials are you on, and like how can people find you? Should have asked
So,
that like a long
oh
time
no,
ago.
dude, you're fine. Let's be honest, if people make it the hour and 47 minutes we've been recording, they probably already by now have already been like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
But I am on all of the socials. TikTok is the best one to find me on. That's where my largest platform is going to be. And it's just Grayson McGaha Comedy. Like that. Yep. Grayson McGaha Comedy is the best one. And if you Google this crazy last name, because, it's the best part about having a crazy last name. There's only a couple of us around. So, yep. Grayson McGaha Comedy. And, that's where you'll find me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, but like for me, I've had a YouTube. I've got some subscribers on the YouTube. But I'm trying to do more exclusive content on it. So it's there. If you go to it, you'll see the fact that it hadn't been messed with for like 3 months, and then you'll see the fact that like the last 3 weeks it's been just more and more stuff. The paranormal stuff is always going to be at Paranormal Night Shift, and you can find all of it on my link tree. If you follow me somewhere, you'll find me everywhere. We'll put it that way.
Oh, same here. I've been I have like almost 800 subscribers on YouTube, and I post the podcast over on my YouTube channel just because when I do hit 1,000 and I am able to monetize at some point, the podcast is going to be the main ad revenue thing, right? Because
No,
like,
dude, yeah, podcast
yeah,
revenue is amazing. Like I do not have my own podcast. Everything I do is with Andy right now. We're about to start a Patreon page where I want you to think of like Bill Burr's page. If you've ever listened to his podcast, that's what we're going to try to start doing. I've got one that we're working on that is basically pretty much like what we're doing here. We're going to call it we're going to call it the Green Room Couch. And my goal is to get the comedians that I have that I've done stuff with. I'm looking for those guys who, just like yourself, but I'm looking for those guys who are looking for the next big step. And I want to use the fact that I do have a wide audience on socials and go like with a Patreon and stuff like that. I want it to be like, hey, have you guys heard of Dick Frost? Like, this is who he is. This is what he does. Go follow him.
what up?
And I want it to be things like that. I got a guy named Sean Murphy I do a lot of stuff with. He's an amazing tattoo artist, but one of the funniest guys that you'll ever come across. And his content and his stand-up is the fact that he's been a tattoo artist for years. So it's all of these horrible tattoo stories, drunk girls coming in there and deciding they want a Playboy bunny. And then, he's been tattooing so long enough. He's seen the girls that come in when they're 16 and now they're, in their 50s, because he's been tattooing for like 40 years. He's like, now they're in their 50s. There's somebody grandmother, and that Playboy bunny has turned into like a Playboy Wendigo, like freaking trash monster. It's horrible to look at.
That's funny.
Dude, he's naturally funny. So we're looking at doing a lot more stuff, man. And talking to you and doing podcasts like this really makes me go, man, I gotta bump up my game, dude. I gotta play this game too.
Well, this is a fun game. We're having a lot of fun doing this. And, like I said, this is going to be probably episode 46, man. We're clipping along one a week. We're 46 weeks into her. And, plus I have like 3, I think, bonus episodes. Yeah, man, we're having a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I work over 100 hours a week or 100 plus hours a week. And the podcasting and the social media game in itself is like having a full-time job on top of a full-time job, and it's a lot of fun. I've taken a little bit of a break the last couple of months, but I'm starting to post a little bit more again. And, that's another thing, the podcast TikTok page, right? When I don't have anything to post, when I can't think of anything to post, this has created more content, right?
Yeah.
The podcast itself, I take clips from it and I push it out for like 4 or 5 days or 3 or 4 days or whatever it is prior to it dropping. And I post little clips to get people interested. And that is content in itself. This is content creation. And I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, dude. And that is exactly what I want to start looking at, like on my end too, is like, I love having these conversations and there's so many guys that I talk to that I'm like, dude, we just got to stop for 2 seconds. Like, I wish that we would have written that down or recorded it. So yeah, you like doing this has made me definitely go, I need to step up my content game, man. Like, this is cool.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun. Like, I'm connecting with you right now. We're having a lot of, we're having a good chat. We're having a lot of fun. I've had so many amazing conversations, and there's so many more amazing conversations coming. I love to talk, right? So this is my wheelhouse. I didn't think I could do it when it first started coming about. I didn't think, I had what it took, but I will go live on TikTok. And when I realized going live on TikTok and podcasting are the same damn thing.
It really is. I mean, that for me, when I go live on TikTok in the mornings, I'm legitimately packing sticker orders with my wife. Yeah. Like, that's what she came in here and did. She printed off all my work for tomorrow. And I got to pack sticker orders in the morning. And that's been the, that's been the thing. Like, I started doing it. I don't go on there. I don't do the battle thing. And I'm not, look, if you want to support me and send me gifts, I greatly appreciate it, but I'm not going to be one of those people who ever sit there and go, in order for you to see me do something, you got to send me. Like, yeah. I love all the support. Like, I'll take it all day long, but there's some people who it's like, what are we doing? Like, why do you have 97,000 people following you? Because you're not doing anything, man. But
well, speaking of which, I just hit 69,000 today on my backup account.
That's a fancy number to be at, buddy.
I'm at 69,000.
I feel like there should be some sort of celebration. I don't want to be involved in that celebration, but I will be there with you in
Are you
spirit.
sure? Are you sure you don't want to be? You don't want to be on the bottom floor of that? I can be on the top floor.
Well, I mean, logistically, it makes better sense for me to be on the bottom. You know, I'm just saying, like you've got the scrawny. Well, not scrawny. Scrawny's a bad descriptive word. I've got the girthy.
Yeah, well, how tall are you?
Oh, like, dude, I am 5'8", depending on what gas station I walk in and out of.
Oh, I'm 5'4".
Well, then, yeah, logistically, now we've changed everything up, and now you have to be on the bottom. Like, the height weight ratio is going to be different, dude. It's
but like you weigh more. Wouldn't you crush me?
Well, I got a feeling like our 69 is going to turn into like an 88. There's going to be a lot of fetal position crying. So,
am I going to be in the fetal position or crying, or you?
Both. I'm not going to be like. Don't get me wrong. You're the mustache rides from you would be epic and legendary. I have a feeling that, like, with the handlebars, that is a legendary mustache ride. But
get in, Sparkle Nuts. There's chaos to spread.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm more afraid that I'm going to enjoy it more than anything else.
Well, dude, if you cut yourself off to one whole gender, that's 50% of the world's love you're losing out on.
That is true. That is a true statement. I go back to the idea that maybe it's just that the mustache is just so majestic. I would feel like I'm cheating on you because I only want the mustache. If my wife had that mustache, let me tell you what, dude, like, that's it. That's what's doing it for me right now. Sweetheart, grow a handlebar mustache.
Dude, does she have a mustache? Like, never mind. I'm not going there. No.
I was trying to get there. I'm glad one of us took it there.
Hey man, it's the womb broom, the upper lip sweater, you know.
Oh, dude, it's the thing of legend, is what it really is. It is. Now, what you need is the little flavor saver down below.
Yeah, the little one. I can grow it. I can grow a full beard like you. I'm just not allowed to in the oil field, right? So right now, even as it stands, the mustache is too long. But like, no one says shit to me half the time anyway. So I'll just whatever.
Dude, I had to clean shave. So I lost all of this. All of that happened at like, yeah. All of that happened at like 20. Like, pretty much.
Man. All of that happened like pretty early on too, right? Yeah.
At 20. And then when I worked at the sheriff's office, it was clean shaved. You had to be clean shaved. No beards.
Well, they don't want the men pulling it down, right? They they don't want, hey, get down here, baby. You know,
so had to be clean shaved. The moment I got into blue collar world, I was like, I'm growing a beard, and then have never looked back. Dude, I had to shave every day, and I was in the parade guard, so like I had to shave every day plus after work because I had to be clean shaved for any parade guard stuff. So like, I think I've done, between the head and the face, I think I've done enough shaving to where I'm just like, I deserve masculine bushy beard.
You know what? One day I was sitting there like this, right?
Dude,
like
that is nice.
Just the way my shirt was sitting, right? And like you could see the hair, and my mom was sitting like across from me, and out of nowhere she's just like, I kind of find chest hair attractive. And I'm just like,
thanks, Ma.
Like, hey, Ma, you want to go in the back or what? Like, is this some, no one's been deeper inside you than I have, right? So, it's true. It's true. But everything, my hands, my fingers, you want to go there, it's been inside, right? Like, it really has. Half of me grew or walked around with her for fucking almost 30 years before I was actually on the outside. So,
dude, that's impressive.
It is.
Absolutely, it's an impressive statement.
I don't want to keep you too much longer there, bud.
Oh, dude, you're good, man.
My,
I got these kids. I gotta wake up in like 6 hours and take this kid to school. It is they can no longer call it Halloween, so it is book character day.
why can't they call it Halloween? What the hell's going on there?
It's dude, it's an American thing. Everybody's offended about everything nowadays, so you're not allowed to call it Halloween anymore.
Oh my god.
I
Oh
know.
my god.
That's
So
a topic for another day. They call it book character day because there are some people who don't celebrate Halloween. We can't call it a fall festival. So it is book character day.
this is insane. This is
Dude,
just
the freaking world we live in. It's the I'm offended for the offended
oh my god.
world that
And
we
it's
live
usually the people that are offended that aren't offended. Or
in.
the people that shouldn't be offended that are offended, and the people that should be offended don't care.
Dude, exactly. Like exactly. They said they did it because like Jehovah Witnesses don't celebrate Halloween, which I'm cool with, and we have a large group of Jehovah Witnesses at the school. I have not heard from one Jehovah Witness at that school who's like, why are we having book character day and not Halloween? They're like, what? Where's the Halloween festival? We still like candy. Just because we don't believe in this holiday does not mean that we don't like candy. Like candy's great. So, oh, and I had to go buy a whole bunch of nut-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, sugar-free bullcrap candy. So there's that too.
Speaking of candy, check out www.thesourmoose.ca and use code DickFrost89 on checkout and save yourself 10%.
10% on your Dick Frost candy. Dick candy.
Dick candies, yes, Dick candies. My friend, the person responsible for my website, actually, she quite literally landed in my lap almost over a year and a half ago or so. She just opened up her own candy store about six months ago, I guess, out in east of Edmonton here. And it's called the Sour Moose, and it's
Sour Moose
doing amazing. They're doing like nostalgic and hard to find candy. She imports shit from all across the world, and she ships it out everywhere.
Oh, dude, I'm definitely going to use your promo code for some.
www.sourmoose.ca. Bro, I'm telling you, do it. And then you got to make a video. Got to make a video of you opening the candy and eating it, because like she loves that shit.
Only if there's dicks involved. Does she have candy dicks?
You know, I'm pretty sure she could get that for you.
I need to have, like, that's what you need to sell. You know, I'm all about marketing. I really feel like if Dick Frost had his own line of mints, because that would go with the Frost. You know, you have your own line of mints that are just little frosties that, you know, frosties in your mouth.
I had a penis flavored popsicle a couple months ago.
That's what you call a promotion there in Canada, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the penis flavored popsicles. Tastes like the real thing.
It's true. It's salty. It tastes like bad decisions and
it's salt of the earth. Yeah, exactly. Bad decisions. Hey, so we're having you back on the podcast, man. You got to come back, and we're gonna have more conversations, and you never know. But I'd like to wrap the podcast up by asking one last question, and take your time answering it. A lot of people, it stumps a lot of people, dude. I don't know. Have you listened to the podcast yet?
I've got episodes on it. I've not made it all the way to the end though, but let's. If this is a fucking trivia question, like let's see what it is. Let's go.
I ask this at the end of every podcast. So, Mount Rushmore has 4 of the most influential people in North American history on it.
Yeah.
Now, if you could have your own Mount Rushmore with 4 people that inspire you or you look up to, who would they be and why?
Okay, so you know what? I've actually done a Mount Rushmore of comedy several times. So in my mind, I think my Mount Rushmore is going to get a little weird, but
Robin
Williams, hands down, Robin Williams would be on Mount Rushmore of comedy. I think for a lot of people, Robin opened the door that being weird is okay, being different is okay, being you know, Robin had a manic funniness, and then coming to find out more about his brain and everything that happened before he took his life, which is tragic. Just, you know, I think that there's a lot of us that have that little bit of Robin Williams in their head to where you can't control everything that's going on in your brain, and the words won't come out fast enough. And I think, watching him, especially in my generation, like, with the movies and stuff that he came out with, and the comedy he came out with, it is that manic joy. So I would definitely have to put Robin Williams on there because I think he's one of those comedians too that you don't find people who have bad things to say about him.
That's
And
true.
those who do have bad things to say about him, like the comedians that accuse him of taking jokes and things like that, like Robin, that's just the way his brain worked, was that, like, if he heard something that he thought was funny, he wanted to make it funnier. So I got to go with Robin Williams on that one. He's like, I want him to be in the figurehead of my Mount Rushmore.
You want
Like,
him to be like George Washington
yeah, yeah,
or Abraham Lincoln,
yeah,
except
definitely
for
not the Teddy Roosevelt part where it's like, oh, that's who that is. Yeah.
you. Hold up, you don't like Teddy Roosevelt?
No, 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 no. Teddy Roosevelt actually would probably still be somewhere on my Mount Rushmore, but I'm saying his direction in the Mount Rushmore, you kind of have to, like, you're trying to figure out who the other guy next to him is,
You need to listen to, I can't remember what number episode it is, but it's titled Teddy. And it's
Okay.
titled Teddy for a reason, about Teddy Roosevelt, where Chase Barber actually has Teddy Roosevelt on his Mount Rushmore. And he went
Yeah.
into like a fucking 15-minute long spiel about Teddy Roosevelt. We learned a lot about Teddy Roosevelt that episode.
Dude, Teddy Roosevelt's, like, truthfully, he's a guy that I could honestly put on my Mount Rushmore just because of all the cool stuff he's done. And just
Did.
how much of a badass he was. Yeah, did, not done, but how much of a badass he really was. And Teddy Roosevelt's got a Bigfoot story, which, as a Bigfoot enthusiast, Teddy Roosevelt's got a Bigfoot story. So that's pretty cool. My second person that I will put up on my Mount Rushmore Hall of Fame, or whatever we're going to call it, is dude, I got to be honest, and you're gonna laugh at this choice. I got to go with Morgan Freeman.
Fuck yeah.
I got to go Morgan Freeman because, just in general, Morgan Freeman's one of those people that you never get mad at. I feel like putting Morgan Freeman next to Robin Williams is going to make a lot of people think, but Morgan Freeman makes me feel good about myself, and he's got an amazing voice.
Hell yeah, he does.
I can go on about how awesome Morgan Freeman is, but Morgan Freeman's going on mine, and you're gonna laugh at my next one. Freaking Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is Fred Rogers is going on my Mount Rushmore.
Isn't he Canadian?
I don't know if Fred Rogers is Canadian or not.
Or is that Mr. Dressup? That could have been Mr. Dressup.
I don't know. Did you guys have Mr. Rogers? Like,
of course
did you guys,
we had Mr. Rogers.
look, dude, it was public access. So
hold on, bro. Did you have Pokemon?
We had Pokemon.
We had
Pokemon.
fucking Mr. Rogers.
Dude, look, I'm telling you, public education system. I learned nothing about Canada other than from South Park. Like, what I know about Canada comes from South Park.
You want to blame Canada for everything.
Terrence and Phillip taught me everything I need to know about Canada. And then
blame Canada.
Yeah. And then my wife is actually she's Alaskan Native. So she's very much so involved with, like, indigenous, I can't say Native Americans, but indigenous people. And she talks a lot about the indigenous people of Canada and things like that. And it's pretty cool. So, like, there's a lot of tribal history that she knows and tells our kids and everything like that. And a lot of things with Alaska and Canada is where a lot of her family is from. And a lot of the tribes talk about horrible things that happen. Like, they teach you about the Trail of Tears. They don't really teach you anything about all the indigenous people in Canada that have been kind of forced off of their land too. So
yeah. There's, for the most part, they never really talked about residential schools. They never really dove into it in the public school system.
Oh no, dude.
Right. And now over the last couple of years, we've really started learning things firsthand about what really went down there and how as early as 1992 or 3, they shut down the last residential school, right? And how like just fucking disgusting it was,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and it's a fucking stain on our society, is what it is.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, like, I know even in the American school system, like, you talk about the Trail of Tears for, like, 2 or 3 days, you don't really understand, like you don't understand about the history of the great nation. So, yeah, that's why I asked about Mr. Rogers. I'm like, Mr. Rogers taught me more about life growing up than anybody else did. Like, so that's why I asked if you guys had Mr. Rogers up there. I didn't
Hell
know.
yeah.
I don't know what Canada does. I just know you guys are up that way somewhere,
We're fucking cold more than
Yeah,
half the year.
more than half
We
of the year.
we gotta we pump out some of the best TikTokers on the damn
Oh,
app.
abso-freaking-lutely.
Yep.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Call me Chris, Selena Spooky Boo. Shit. Who else? Oh, the What No Way guy.
Yeah. Well, and Dick Frost. Dick Frost in
Fuck.
general
Dick
is
Frost in
fucking
general,
amazing.
baby. What's up?
Yeah,
That's
like,
me.
Dick and speaking of my number 4 spot, I gotta go with Dick Frost for my
Oh
number 4 Mount Rushmore spot.
shit. I'm about
Uh,
as hard as Mount Rushmore right now, too. Now, shit.
dude, you should be. You should be,
Fuck.
because you're gonna be in between Mr. Rogers and Morgan Freeman, and if that doesn't make you hard,
Oh, buddy.
I don't know.
Can we
I don't
put
know
can we
what
put
will.
Mr. Can we put Morgan Freeman in the middle and have a Morgan Freeman sandwich?
That is fantastic idea. I
Oh,
agree with it.
oh.
Um, absolutely. Yeah, I'll put you on my Mount Rushmore of freaking awesome people, dude.
Oh,
Like
I
I
appreciate that, man. Shit.
truthfully, I put you on there because I think you represent all right, so truthfully, it can be your face, but if I'm really gonna get deep and like actually try to be a sentimental person, I got to go with like hardworking people like yourself deserve to be on Mount Rushmore. See, the other ones are celebrities that everybody knows. The real heroes of both these great nations are the guys that are out there doing it every fucking day that
Damn
don't get
straight.
a pat on the back, that go, that they're sacrificing their body, their mental health, everything to just survive. Those are the guys that need to be on the Mount Rushmore of anything. Those are the guys who need to be celebrated in this nation more than anybody else. The hardworking individuals, moms and dads. I say guys, so let me go ahead and be nice. The hardworking moms and dads that are out there fucking doing whatever it takes to make sure that their kids are taken care of, their families are taken care of. They're being a mom, being a dad is one of the toughest jobs ever because you're raising the next generation. You are raising little people. And
Yep.
you and I both know people who are absolute assholes. So somebody's done a horrible job. So, that for me is, if you're going to put somebody on a Mount Rushmore, it needs to be just a picture of friggin' a hammer and a nail and the people who are out there just busting their ass every day.
Oh man, there's a country that put the hammer and the sickle on a flag already, man.
Not that country, but like it just in general, just hardworking fucking people are the ones that deserve more credit than they're getting. There's a video floating around. And I wish I knew the guy's name, but there's a video floating around about talking about the girl, the look at me girls on the internet, and then talking about the guys that are out there waking up at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning every day, pouring a fucking pot of coffee, going out, and they're working, and they're leaving the house when it's dark. They're getting back to the house when it's dark. They're working out there. They're
That's
out there
just winter
surviving.
in Canada, baby.
I know. Dude, that's night shift in general. Like this time of the year, I have no idea what the sun looks like. Like this pale pasty complexion is 100% just in general. But those are the people that deserve more credit than they get, man. Night shift and just hardworking fucking people, dude. They do not get the pat on the back. Nobody's saying thank you. As a dad, I don't know if you've ever, gotten the fucking. I love the hug. My favorite time is the hug in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Dad, good to see you. Love you. But I had a conversation, and this one will get deep. I had a conversation with my oldest about Santa Claus, who, and things like that. And when he realized that that Santa Claus wasn't, wasn't real, and he realized that, dude, like, dad pulled these extra hours to make sure I had the things, and I'm giving some jolly fat man the credit for what my dad did. Dude,
Yeah.
that's a fucking god waterwork kind of, I love you too, son. Like, those are the moments that we live for, dude. And it's those little heroes, man. It's the little stuff that doesn't ever get, you don't get a thank you, man, because it's your fucking job. you know
Absolutely.
I hear,
Absolutely.
I hear a lot of dads, and I hear a lot of people bitch about, not getting the fucking credit, dude. It's your fucking job, dude. And so if I'm going to give you credit for it, you go on the fucking Mount Rushmore next to all these people and understand that, like, those are the people who have built these nations. These are people who can keep making this fucking nation amazing. Those are the people that are out here just surviving, and those are the people that deserve to be on some fucking recognition Mount Rushmore pat on the back, dude. Like, 100%. People like Dick Frost over here.
Oh shit. Minus the Dick Frost part, man. That was probably one of the best answers we've had for Mount Rushmore. That was sick, man. Good for you. No, man. My wife and I were raising our kids a little differently that way. They only get one present from Santa each, right? Because they're gonna go to school and they'll be like, "Hey, look at all these fucking gifts Santa brought me," and we live in a bit of a rougher neighborhood where it not a lot of kids can afford shit, and even if we didn't live in that neighborhood, we started long before we lived there, and so they get one gift from Santa. That way, Santa only brought them one instead of like 20, and this kid only got one, right? Mom and dad bought the rest. Santa
Yep.
brought you one, right? Santa brings one gift to you, and that's it, right? So, and like you said, man, I hope my daughters come up to me and give me that big hug and be like, "Hey, man, thanks for putting in all those
Yeah.
extra hours in. Thanks for putting up with bullshit." So
Exactly.
thanks for putting up with the bullshit and people with the tism
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
well, hey, nepotism, narcissism, uh, and the other one too, but the other one too. But thanks for doing all that, man. And my wife does a really good job at making sure my kids know why I'm gone and what I'm doing. And my daughter looks at me and is like, "Dad, when are you coming home?" Like, "Yeah, in a week or so, I'll see you." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay." She's like, "Dad's away making money, so I can have another Barbie doll, right?"
Yeah. I
And
mean,
and
truthfully,
that's I love that shit. Today for her birthday was a couple days ago. I was home for it. We had our party. Her one of her birthday presents came in the mail today. She had to get a new tablet. Her Amazon tablet was
yeah.
not holding enough memory and needed to be replaced. We bought her an iPad, and she's ecstatic. She's 6 years old. She's learning how to call people on that damn tablet.
Oh,
And
dude.
and she called me like 4 times today while I was at work. And had I been around, I would have answered it. But I can't answer it all the time. But whenever she calls, I'm right there. And this morning, I knew she had it. I knew it was in her hands when she was getting ready for school or whatever. I sent her a good morning message when I got up and I left. I'm like, "Hey, good morning. I hope you enjoy your new tablet. I love you so much." My wife said she watched that damn video like 20 times. So
I know, dude. It's the little fucking magic, dude.
yeah,
Kids are the best, dude. And I remember, this is my other heart wrenching story. I remember my kid had a like a whatever, a celebration day at school. Like, he was getting an award. Like, they have this thing where it's like, like character awards is whatever they want to call them. So he's getting an award at school for, like, being fucking awesome. And I had, dude, I worked night shift. I worked in a metal refinery. I was fucking disgusting, dude. I mean, I had sulfur and just sludge all over me. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm not going to be able to go because it starts like the moment I drop him off. And like, that was my heart wrenching. Like, Dad, you better be there. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to be dirty. He's like, no, you better be there. And I'm like, I'm going to be dirty. I'll bring a change of clothes. He was like, no, everybody needs to see what you do. And I'm like, oh. Like, he gets it, dude. My little guy gets it too. And those are the things that, as dads, like, just freaking rip your heart out, because it's like, you know, like your little one watching the video 20 times, dude, it means that they fucking get it. It means you're doing a good goddamn job, because you, like, they get it, dude. They
Yeah,
understand, you know, it's there. You know, I will put in those hours all day long to make sure that they can live a better life. Now, I will sit and bitch all day
absolutely.
long too about how that fucking better life is not what I want it to be, because I'm not getting paid enough anymore.
Yeah,
That will still be my platform, but yeah, dude, I mean, that's the shit that matters, dude, and that's why we do all the things we do, right?
absolutely, buddy. And that's why I'll continue to do what I do. And it might be time to change up how I do that, but we're still gonna continue doing it. Have to. Have to do it
Yeah,
for the
man.
grind. Have to put the grind in, have to, you know, do what we do. Do what we do best.
It's all about the dirty hands, man. You know, it's a mindset, it's a mindset, it's a mindset, it's a way of life, and it's a way of thinking more than anything else, dude. You know, it don't change anything else. You gotta respect the grind and the hustle, and put it in. And I wish you nothing but success. I want to see you on TV one day and be like, I know that guy. I was lucky enough to do his podcast one time.
Shit,
Like,
dude. I don't know if the
that
TV
fucker's
thing will
awesome.
ever happen, but hey, we could will it into existence. Fuck, that'd be
That's
sick,
all, you
dude.
know, sometimes that's all you can do. You talk about it and you hope you will it into existence.
Well, I'm an opportunist, right? So, sometimes I'm like a dog with a bone. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but I see an opportunity and I go for it,
Dude,
right?
you got to. That's
And
all you
and
can do nowadays.
that's all you can do, man. And the opportunity for a podcast came up. Boom, I'm there. Opportunity came up where, hey, let's, Dirty Hands, Clean Money came up. I'm there. Heat Waves came up. I'm there. I just, I invite that energy in where it's like, let's go, let's have some
Yeah,
fun with it,
let's
and
do it. Let's
you
do it,
know,
make it happen.
yeah, man, fuck, I
It
maybe the TV thing could happen sometime, man. That'd be fucking cool,
could do. It could be, man. It'd be cool. You know, crazier
Yeah.
things have happened in the world. Crazier
Well,
things have
hey,
happened.
man, I see a lot of content creators out there right now that when they get bigger. I don't know, the Eliminators or whatever they're called. They're making their own movie with Jeremy Littell. Jeremy Littell is helping them make a movie. Larry Ruffin, Big Iron or
Yeah.
Rough Iron, he built some shit for the set for them, and they're using creators to build stuff for this movie. They're using creators to make the movie, and like they're creators helping creators, and hey, man, you never know. Maybe somewhere, someday, someone will be like, that's who we need right there.
Well,
Bring him onto our.
I think that's really, you know, really the cool thing about what, you know, the generation that you and I are in right now. We're old enough to remember when it wasn't that way, and we're
Yep.
still, you know, we're still relevant enough to be on these platforms, and and find group, find our niches and find our people, and that's the kind of stuff I want to see, dude. I don't want to see all of the craziness, dude. Let's look at the positive sides, and let's build people up. And like, I want to see creators out there doing their own stuff and being able to collaborate and do stuff, and not, not always have to sit and go. It goes back to that idea of success, man. Like, what is success for you? Like, for me, it's wanting to do this. Like, I want to do this. I want to tell jokes, and I want to do it, man. I mean, as long as my kids are happy, I'm going to keep doing whatever I can do.
Gord from the Second Act podcast right now is listening, and he's salivating at the mouth from listening to you talk about success, because that is his end of the podcast question on his podcast. What is success now compared to what success was back then? Right.
Right.
And, success back then was probably, moving on up in that company if I can, slaving away and
I
giving
don't want
her and
more though,
laying it
dude.
on the line, being that company man. If someone notices me being a good company man, maybe I move on up that ladder, and now that idea of success is shit, man. I hope I don't have a $500 fuck up in the next,
I know.
2 weeks.
I'm successful if everybody is fed and has clothes on there, dude. Like, that makes me successful. Being able
Yep.
to wake up every day and wake up every day. I don't know if you're a spiritual person. I stopped going to church, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a spiritual person. Waking up every day and taking a deep breath in and go, you know what? Like fucking here, we got to do the best we can. I don't know when it will end. It could end tomorrow. It could end tonight. You know, I want to make sure that the people who are involved in my life look at me and go, man, he was cool. He was fun to be around, and he loved me and took care of me, and he was good people. Not fuck that guy. Like,
Yep, I hear that, man.
I've been at several funerals that were fuck those guys funerals. I don't want that. I don't want to be that guy.
I can't wait till my dad dies, and I can't wait to be at the funeral when everyone's just like, "Hey, fuck that guy," because I'm gonna be one of those guys.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I'm gonna be like, "Hey, everyone here, you got out what you wanted to say about him. That was nice. Start the fucking parade of dudes that got shit to say that ain't nice.
Fuck that dude.
Fuck that dude, buddy. Man, this has been fun, man.
This has been cool. This took too long to make happen. We got to do this again, and
we will.
You know, I talk to you off air and more about it, about trying to do some more cool stuff together. And dude, this has been fun. It has been an honor and a privilege to be a part of this. And dude, thank you so much for everything you do, man. Like, I mean, what you're doing, highlighting creators and getting out here talking, dude. This is fucking amazing, dude. I can't tell you enough.
Well, thank you for being one of those creators, man. Thanks for the things you do and say and talk about on your platform, that you speak out for the everyday Joe, the little guy who is really supposed to be the big guy. We make shit happen, and we get shit on when we do it. And man, thanks for being that voice. Thanks for being like, man, like there are days where my feet hit the ground and I just sit there and with my head in my face in my hands, and I don't want to do it. But then I remember, grace in my God, man, you know what, like motivates me to just go out there and fucking do what I got to do.
I don't know if that's what I need to be tied into, man, but I'll take it, dude. I'll take any of it, because truthfully, man, I mean that's the big thing about all of it, man. It's you don't have a fucking choice anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I will always set and fight for on my platform, dude. It is not a entitlement thing. Ain't nobody entitled to anything. That is not the group of people I'm representing for wages and for fair pay. It is not the entitlement that give me anything. It is the goddamn it, we're out here. We fucking earned this shit. I need to be able to be out here and keep making multi-million-dollar profits. I need to be able to put food on my fucking table to be able to do it. Skilled labor is not cheap, and cheap labor is not skilled. You pay people the way they need to be paid.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Fuck, are you rock hard right now? Because I
am now, dude. I got a second wind. Like, I took a Viagra before this show, just so you know.
Shit. I don't know if you listen to Theo Von or not, but he's taking that Blue Chew.
I want to get sponsored by Blue Chew, because I definitely feel like not only am I a client, I could be like the, kind of like the hair club for men guys. Like, that'd be happen. That would happen.
Oh shit, man! This is great. This has been fun, man. And this has probably been one of my favorite podcasts I've recorded so far to date.
Yes, I'm glad I get the title for that, dude. And I appreciate you letting me come out here and cut loose. A lot of these social media platforms don't let me say everything that I want to say. So I think this is probably on record the most time that I've said fuck on social media, like, in a long time, because they just won't let you say fuck or any of the words you want to say.
Well, fuck them.
I know. Fuck that shit, dude. Like,
fuck that shit.
Fuck that shit.
If I say fuck 2 more times, that's 36 fucks in this fucked up rhyme.
Oh, dude, if you say fuck, like, I don't know what our fuck count is so far. Like, I'm not sure where we're at with the fuck count, but.
Oh, now I'm going to have to fucking edit, aren't I?
You're going to have to edit and have a fuck counter so that
I'm going to have a fuck counter on it. Oh, here we go. You're making me work on this one, aren't you?
Just enough, just a little fucking work, not too much fucking work.
Just a little bit of fucking work, and it's gonna be fucking glorious.
Fuck is a wonderful word, man. But I got to be up fucking early to take these fucking kids to fucking school for their fucking not not Halloween fucking party. So,
and if you're lucky, it's only 11:46 there. You could still get some fucking in with the wife.
oh no, it's 12:46 on our end, dude.
Oh shit! Hopefully she hasn't put her fucking pants on, her track
Oh,
pants
dude,
on.
she's fucking gone.
Oh
Oh yeah, she's well past gone. It is
well,
so much past her bedtime. She's gonna yell at me when I get in bed, and she's gonna be like, "The fuck."
what the fuck? Well, does she have to be conscious or awake?
Oh no, dude, nothing, dude. Been married for 20 some odd years now. Like,
Oh, she's mostly asleep
oh yeah,
99% of the time,
yeah,
then, even when
99,
her eyes are awake.
yeah. Like
Is it?
we are well past consensual at this point in time.
This is
It is,
gonna be a fucking good time
yeah, just obligational is what we're looking at.
then.
Can we edit that part out? Because that's a fucking clip right there that'll go viral. Grayson McGaha Comedy said he does no longer have consensual sex with his wife. Yeah, that'll be the.
Do you want me to edit that part out?
No, that'll be the fucking Channel 9 news at the end of the day.
I'm gonna use that as a fucking clip on the teaser.
Oh, dude, that should be the clip, and that should be like the thumbnail on it. Is just he doesn't fuck his wife. That'll be it right there. That'll be it.
It's coming,
that's
man.
A viral fucking video right there.
It's coming, but she's not.
Local comedian and other comedian laugh at the fact that they talked about non-consensual. Yeah, dude, that's the worst fucking part is that like the social media game is one of those things, dude. I'm surprised that I've not been canceled for some of the shit that I've said in the first place.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, like some of the things that have come out of my mouth. I really thought the one I did the other day about the draft that's being talked about. I thought that was it. I did that video and put it up, and I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is the hill that I'm gonna fucking die on." Right
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it was just basically talking about how this generation of people that were getting drafted. Like, I'm like, really? These are the people that were called upon to fight a war? Like the fucking the generation that was eating Tide Pods last fucking week is the people that we're gonna set and be like, "Hey, this is America's finest." Like, fuck that. I'm scared. Can we go ahead and give up? Like,
oh shit. There you go. I'm back.
You got the fucking Tide Pod army over here. Because I don't think the U.S. Army is ever going to issue out like camouflage Hey Dudes or Crocs for these guys to be able to do it.
I think there are camouflage Crocs though.
Oh, dude, they're on my feet right now, dude. Like, if I'm not in work boots, I'm gonna let you know. If like you're talking about sponsorships, if I'm not in work boots, if Justin and Red Wing Boots could come together with the people who make Hey Dudes and Crocs, like that is a game changer. Give me that level.
From God.
Give me that level of comfort in a work boot, and I won't bitch anymore.
Oh shit.
Oh, dude. Like I want the bottom feel of a Croc with the metacarpal like friggin' steel toe. That's what I need.
Hell yeah. I hear that, man. I hear that. Anyways, brother, I gotta go. My wife is probably gonna be chomping at the bit to talk to me before she passes out. She's gonna be like, how come when you're not on social media and you're talking to me on the phone, you let me go at 10 o'clock? She just texted me, you alive?
Yeah, exactly.
You can let me go at 10 o'clock, but the moment you get on there, you can stay awake till midnight. It's like, here we go.
I've heard that one all day long. Stay out of the doghouse. Don't get on the doghouse on my end, dude. Hey, dude, this was a pleasure. Like, seriously, I know we got to jump off of here. Seriously, this was a pleasure, dude. Thank you so much.
Oh, shit. You
gotta get a fucking mic stand, brother.
I do. I definitely do. Yeah, this has been a pleasure. And, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going doggy in the doghouse tonight, buddy.
Yeah, go have fun with your doggy in the doghouse.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go and put laundry in the dryer and all the shit that I have to do. But dude, let's do this again, man. This was a like I said, this was absolutely cool. And let's try to do some collab stuff. And I'm gonna send you a message about your other guy off air. See what I need to do to get in contact with these guys.
Hell yeah, cool. Man. I got an idea for a collab. I'll text you though.
Yeah, text me, dude. And my phone's always on. You can call me whenever. It doesn't matter what time your
I'll
Canadian fucking time
I'm gonna
is.
be sending you dick pics every day.
Dude. All right. Let's end this here. As a collaborator or as a influencer, how many dick pics do you get sent?
Oh, dude, on Snapchat, this guy named ML, at least 2 or 3 a day. And he wants one back from me every day. I don't do it. Today he asked me he's like, I don't send me a dick pic. Just send me a picture of you in your hotel room. I did it.
$20 is $20, but let me tell you what. My wife was, when I started doing this, my wife was very concerned about ladies. Like, I have not gotten a single fucking titty pic, but
Never.
I have a plethora of giant dongs that are sent to me all the time.
Yes.
You know, and I'm
it's the dudes she's got to be worried about. I told her once, I'm like, hey, if this marriage don't ever work out, maybe I got a future with the dudes, you know?
Oh, allegedly, like, in that community, you and I are like a fucking 10, dude.
It's
like,
the mustache and the beard, bro.
It's got to be. I don't know what it is, but unsolicited dick pics are fucking amazing.
I love it. Hey, the bigger, the better. The harder, the better. You know.
I got a story about it, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but have you ever gotten one and gotten mad about it? I got mad about one time, dude. This dude, no, like straight up. This is the clip for you. I get them sent to me like at least once or twice a day. And I block him and stuff like that. But I had this one guy, he hit me with like, I want to call it the rope-a-dope of dick pics. Cause he sent it with a HR violation. He's like, hey, I got a story about my company. And, I want to know if you've ever come across this. And that was my call to action. I asked for HR stories, and he's like, here's a picture of the email. I click on the picture, and I'm mad about how little this dude's dick is. Like, I know that sounds the fucking, like, I was like, like, I'm used to seeing rock hard dick sent to me, and you think you're going to convert this? You're telling me to leave my wife and you're going to take care of me, and you hit me with this little stack of penny fucking dick pic? Like, come on, dude. Put some effort into it. It wasn't even good lighting. And then I'm sitting here showing my wife this guy's flaccid dick, and I'm like, what has my life come to? Like, why is this a whole conversation that you and I as a married couple are having, that I am upset that he felt like his tiny little wiener was going to be what converted me? And that's the worst part, dude.
I share those pics with my coworkers all the time. I'm like, look, this guy just sent me, bro.
Oh, see, most of the time it's become a game with my coworkers, like the circle game. They're like, man, anybody sent you any boobies or anything? Like, you got a lot of people follow you. And I'll be like, yeah, here, man, let me show you this one, because my wife will kill me if I should. And then it's like, wong. No, this is the one that I have saved because I was so unimpressed by the wiener pic. I'm like, if you're really gonna try to send me one, it needs to be a damn fine wiener. Like, I'm
gonna send you a picture of the one the guy sent me today. Like, I was actually impressed by the damn thing.
Thank you.
The lighting wasn't the greatest, but like,
see, that's what I'm saying. Like, put some effort into it.
Oh, dude, he put a lot. I'd say the lighting was the only effort he didn't put into it.
Oh, wow. See,
yeah.
I personally, the ones that I like are the floor models, to where the camera's on the ground and clearly, cameras on the ground. That takes a level of panache. You put the camera on the ground and they stand over it, and it's like, I'm like, see, get whole cock and balls. Whole, like, put some effort into it, man. That's what I'm saying. But this took a weird turn. This took a weird turn on dick pics, but go do your thing. I will holler at you later, man. This has been fun. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Hey,
let me go get yelled at.
You stay frosty.
You stay frosty, my friend. You stay frosty.
You stay frosty.
Absolutely. If you stay frosty. Yeah, like straight in the face.